We are live!
We're not in theory.
No, we have audio.
Not anymore, at least.
So, last time on Outpost, like 18 billion months ago, we witnessed our party. They'd landed on a island far from home that seemed to be populated by a small village of orcs. They set about kind of trying to make contact with the locals, encountered a weird, goopy sea monster thing. I don't remember what it was called. It was wolfy. It was kind of like a sea monster adjacent. They were no, Bimblebee was the scribe, and he had the voice of the unicorn from Gravity Falls.
That was but Billbirds were the names of the sea creatures.
Okay, so you did fight off
wolf sharks.
Yes,
right?
the wolf sharks.
That's
what it was.
But one of the orcs called them Billbirds. The orc no one liked called them Billbirds.
Hey, no, his girlfriend likes him.
Yeah,
they're having their own background.
I like him.
Spectacular.
Too,
However,
anyways,
after a lot of bullshit, you did make contact with the village elder named Idun. She is kind of the orc matron of this area, and after clearing out some camp of the kind of weird cultists of this demon prince or lord or whatever the shit he's called, you find yourselves camped out with a good kind of hunting party from the orc village as well as Idun herself, as she gives you some backstory on what the fuck it is that these people were trying to break into, and just its relevance to overall things. And last contact that you had with your ship was just a little message just like, we're good, we're going to be checking this out. And they're just like, that's fine, we're rebuilding the mast from all of this big crash that we just did as this sailing ship. So they're beached, and they are doing their best to fix the ship. It is the evening after your last combat with some cultists where your magically inclined party member successfully did not pick up yet another most likely cursed magical item.
Picks it up, but broke it.
Oh, see, that counts.
yeah.
See, if you didn't attune to it, then you can't get, be crucified, so...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was really hoping for, a full face slap there. Please don't disappoint me next time. Okay, so... here is where we pick up. The scene is kind of probably a half an hour after full sunset and the sky is beginning to get dark. Stars are beginning to wake up, as it were, up in the sky, twinkling their way into vision. And there is a moderately sized campfire in the center of this clearing. Probably about 120-ish feet from this big door. It is set at a slant, kind of facing up, almost like a trap door or a door into a basement, but it is very large, made out of stone, and has a very overgrown design all
It's
over
not
it.
going into the temple, yeah?
Into the hill, yeah.
Hills.
Don't personally trust doors. I think they are sneaky and concealatory.
I think this is more Barbie than Candle used to be.
What?
It's a bit more Barbie than Candle used to be.
I don't know what is that?
Okay.
Barbie means,
It's a slur.
Actually, real quick, let's do quick character introductions since we're getting finally back into this.
Describe yourself and your character.
So real quick, I guess I'll start.
Yes.
My character's name is Shadow. They are a tabaxi. They were trained as a poisoner, as well as a death cleric. They were kind of a caravan guard in the frozen wastes, as they were trained to kind of take down the large hostile creatures that may threaten the caravans there. They made their way north on a magical mystical quest. And
you've received some cryptic warnings and some bullshit's about to happen. Shit will pop off sooner or later, and that is all of the problem.
But yeah, so yeah, I am a multi-class death cleric as well as an assassin with the poisoner feat.
You get to be introduced after the NPCs now.
I'm sorry.
No, everyone else hearing the
Yeah,
cat.
I know it. Tigger is having a heated gamer moment upstairs. Just
All right.
Candle.
Thrown off by the cat.
I'm sorry.
You should be. Very bad stream etiquette.
I thought it was a part of a song for a minute.
Yeah, I have some weird kitty noises in the background for ambience. Welcome to the forest of cats!
It's just Shadow.
I probably shouldn't be yelling.
Yeah, you've got a nice peek on the mic.
Okay.
Anyway, hi. My name's Candle. I am a kind of chameleon, color-changing tiefling because I'm an emotionally repressed person, and that is reflected apparently in my disposition sometimes. I am a monk barbarian, and I grew up in a monastery. I have a lot of faith in my goddess.
Lysandra.
Sandra.
Goddess of the sun, yes.
Yes. The goddess of the sun. She is my, baby mama.
Yikes.
Wrong word.
Taking no, I think she's taking the nun part of her religion very seriously.
I am
It's not a virgin birth, but it is
sister.
deifically inspired. Heyo!
the sister of a monastery of Lysandra, and I really like really firm hugs. Thank you.
To give or to receive.
Always to give.
This tracks. Okay, Chucklefuck, it's your turn.
Hello. My name is Selwyn. I'm a halfling.
Yep.
My name is Selwyn Goodbarrel specifically. I'm a halfling who's from the Goodbarrel troop.
Got a great barrel.
Yes. We are primarily focused.
You primarily fucking.
There goes the cat again. Wow, I'm so glad I suggested we introduce our characters.
Yeah, this is great stream material.
I'm so glad we got back
Laugh
into this.
compilation. It's just the first 15 minutes of the stream.
I'm so sorry.
Are you though? Button up your shirt.
We're gonna get banned from Twitch. That's it, folks. We're done.
It's winter outside.
All right, let me just lower the audio level.
So loud.
I'm sorry that all y'all is just quiet and restrained. Anyways, your character has a shirt that he keeps buttoned. No, he doesn't.
I'm a halfling. I come from the Goodbarrel troop. We traveled around. We were known particularly for our booze.
And we're haunted.
And what?
Booze.
We were known specifically for having the best,
Copyright
best
claim from
alcohol
Nintendo.
in all the land, of the halflings at least. Yeah, at one point I got separated from my brother, and I ended up locked in a room.
Yep. With a bunch of runes.
With a bunch of
It
runes.
was a room.
It's a room. And I
that's
was
how we
locked in
talk
there
about
for about a
Year and a half, which is because of calendar, like 3 years of Earth time.
Yeah.
Tigger, we're down here.
Tigger.
Tigger.
Anyways, anything else you want to tell us about your man slut?
Tigger's the cat, by the way.
Tigger is a cat.
Tigger's a cat. Upstairs.
After that, I reunited with my brother. I got my journal with all of my rune information.
No, you didn't.
What?
You didn't get it. You got it stolen.
That's what I was gonna
If
say.
you talk faster or I'll eat your
You
soul.
fucking...
That's fair, I deserve this.
Yeah. I got my journal with all my rune stuff that I'd studied for a year and a half stolen by this prick of a student.
God, what was his name?
I'll give him a firm.
His first name was Joel because it was the whitest, most entitled
Was.
dude bro name I could
Yeah,
think
I
of.
think I have a note.
Silverstock! Joel
Oh, that's right.
Silverstock.
Joel Silverstock.
We apologize to any Joes watching the
No,
Joe,
not
Joe is
Joel.
fine.
Joel.
If you have an L
Like
at the end of
Billy.
your name, I'm coming for you.
video. Yes, we're still watching.
Oh.
How did you know
I
our
got,
fan base was
I got
entirely
stolen,
made of
and
Joes?
then
You
I
mean the
went
one
off
guy?
with my brother, and we've had an adventure. We joined
Expedition!
an expedition.
To explore the edges of the map.
Yeah.
Hi there, the name's Mero. I've been exploring for a bit. Me and my brother left our troop a while back to explore. When we got split up, I got stuck in some ancient ruins that had some weird
Living water!
living water that
Wanted to kill you!
ate magic and wanted to kill
Nom
me.
nom 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 nom.
Seemed kind of sketchy, but we're just gonna ignore that for now because I don't know anything about it. And I tend to get distracted by the shiniest thing in the room because I am very impulsive, which sometimes leads to bad situations. But
At least
it'll
you're not
happen when
cursed!
It happens, and I'm not cursed.
I don't
like
know
my brother.
what you're talking about.
At least you don't like giving firm hugs.
But in my travels, while we were split up, I ran afoul of some pirates when I saved someone that they kidnapped from the Orc Islands, and then I decided to go on the expedition partly because I was being hunted by some pirates.
And now you're getting closer to the pirates, actually, it turns out.
Woo!
There's much
And
more
with
pirates
that,
than you.
after those lovely character
And
introductions,
everyone else, they are all terrible, universally.
Yeah, what
this
now?
is our lovely DM, known as Sweeney.
Okay, so it is the evening times. It is dark, except for the stars and the campfire, around which you all sit. Idun has her, like, fucking fold-out picnic chair. The orcs are very set up for any and all mobile picnics. They have a lot of kind of, like, dad-style golf chairs. Little foldable canvas assemblies. It's spectacular. And there is a dinner that is happening, but Idun kind of gathers you four around and says, "So, I forget what voice I had. Orc matron. It's deeper. It's okay. Sorry. Vocal warm-ups
You
before
sound
storytelling.
wonderful.
It's important to have a good delivery. That's why we have a postal service. So, before I get into this, what do you know of these temples? They are scattered throughout the world. Have you encountered any of them or anything like it?
We encountered one that seemed kind of like it at the bottom of the ocean.
There was a strange magical hole leading to the floor of the ocean. Some sort of underwater temple or castle, perhaps.
There were
Um,
books.
And other cultists.
There
Yeah.
was there were members of a strange cult down there attempting to
But
gather
we
something.
murked them. Real good.
A good marking. Excellent. Anything else? Just so I know.
I once interacted with a dead fish.
Was that
Like for dinner?
that was where we found
No, we had a conversation.
Yeah.
He seemed unhappy.
Well, most dead fish would not be satisfied with that state of life.
Yeah, I think it may have something to do with his mouth suddenly appeared on the side of his body. It was
She kind of
weird.
looks at her ribs and is just like, that sounds uncomfortable.
It was
Yes.
very uncomfortable. But he seemed vaguely god demonic-y.
Those are two very important distinctions. Which one would you think of the two?
I don't know, but we had a very deep conversation.
I feel like if anyone...
D4 to your next roll for
Oh.
good jokes.
Thank you.
If I may, also when we were down there, we met with a strange creature known as an earth soul, I believe. Is that what it was called? Earth soul, yes. Named-
Shadow pulls out a notebook.
Yes.
Fucking-
Honestly,
oh.
Shadow would have that.
Shadow's a big nerd, and we love Shadow so much.
But more like Shadow doesn't know the language of this land very well. He's trying.
He's doing great.
He's doing very well. It was known as an earth soul. It identified itself as Endra.
Let's see if I remember anything about this clown. Doesn't sound familiar.
It was a strange being, but I think the cultists were trying to use it for some evil purpose, but it seemed to not want to be used for them. It was,
Resistant.
yes.
Very well. Well, I'll have to contemplate the existence of an earth soul. Regardless, this temple and many like it have been the center point of our nomadic lifestyle as orcs for many generations now. Ever since kind of the end of the First Age, orcs have been nomadic. Something about ancestral war crimes, and everyone hates us, so tend not to settle down.
Why? You have such a lovely disposition.
Not everyone thinks so. She kind of shrugs her 4-foot wide shoulders, and you see the just ghostly image of like WoW style pauldrons just appear. No.
See, lovely.
She kind of looks at you just like, you are my friend now. No. So she
Seems much like my cleanse.
takes a deep breath in and settles into a more kind of like deeply seated posture and says, we arrived at this location 3 generations ago before I was born, and we settled here in large part because of this temple's existence. You see, around these temples, for some reason, the ambient magic is stronger and it's easier to fish, sustain life, build towns, exist, preserve our traditions and history. And this particular temple is interesting to us specifically because it's one of the few that we could actually enter. And so, for the last 3 generations, we have made a habit of sending our children in as a kind of coming-of-age ceremony. It seems the first layer of this temple's defenses, they are all defended, serves more as a mirror of yourself and your potential than any sort of act of danger although we know there are deeper layers. And if people are trying to break into this temple who we know are just the worst, then it might be wise to send some people in who are non-shitty. And currently, my village,
Do you have any?
She looks at her daughter, who is Valdun, who is currently looking kind of with an obvious interest at the orc that nobody likes, and she's just like, we're not warlike anymore. Haven't been for many years. In case you couldn't tell by the fact that our village got rolled up by 3 boats with some arrows on it.
I'll volunteer. I like architecture and history.
Guess they're stuck with us.
Oh no.
Does everyone else want to volunteer too?
I guess we have to at this point.
It might look cool inside.
Exactly.
I am a follower of Kothram. I have nothing to hide.
She does seem to recognize the name.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Oh!
Sorry, first time anyone's recognized that name.
It's been years.
Is the entire temple underground?
Well, the first layer, definitely underground, but we think it starts to bend the laws of space and planar existence.
Oh.
It's...
So no sunshine?
There might be. Our young have reported strange visions in this outer layer.
Oh.
So sunshine might be where you find yourself.
Oh, huzzah!
You might not. It's different for everyone. But we've been able to deduce that this particular temple is the way it is because for some reason it is run. This outer layer is controlled by the spirit of an ancient hero who has a terrible sense of humor, but at the end of the day is trying to be a benevolent force, although they seem to espouse the tough love style of learning. Part of why we've settled here so comfortably.
I love tough love. I'm excited now.
So, that's kind of the gist of what you might be getting yourself into, although if these clowns, and she points to the wreckage of the campsite that y'all trounced about 6 hours previous, if these people were trying to break in, then there's probably much more beyond this outer layer. That's really as much as I can tell you, other than this outer layer's trials shouldn't be too terribly dangerous. I don't think.
Well, let's get some sleep and take it on in the morning, I guess.
I like that plan. I'm tired.
Cheers. You get a long rest.
Before I take my long rest, if I could.
If you can.
I want to cast fucking what's it called? Hold person into the staff.
Oh yeah. Stored spell.
Sword spell, iron stone type deal.
Gotcha. Noted. Anything else anyone wants to do as part of the evening ritual?
I'd like to pray to my goddess.
Roll religion.
Okay.
And then tell me what you say.
Grab the shiny stone.
Oh yeah, you have a
Just
stone
all
shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll a d20.
Oh.
Roll a d20.
Religion.
Crit.
What was your religion roll? I'll get back to you.
14.
Excellent. What do you say? Describe your ritual. Paint me a scene picture. You are the DM of this little scene.
I do.
Tell me about it.
I sit down in the dirt somewhere where I can have a stick and kind of draw into it.
Okay.
And I draw a little circle around me, and for every, and basically I just say a good thing, a bad thing, a good thing, a bad thing. And then I draw a little flower around me, and then I sit down and I just meditate within the good and bad and try to find the balance.
Excellent. You do feel like a kind of internal responsive warmth, and you find some measure of, I guess, peace and acceptance, but there's a lingering uneasiness.
Oh.
Have fun with that. You crit!
Yeah.
So you're polishing this nice shiny stone, and you again realize, I don't know if I said this, but you again realize that there is a kind of underlying pulse
Yeah.
to the magic of this shiny stone.
Proficiency +1.
Yeah. Except it kind of seems to respond to being polished. in like a reactive way. Like there's almost a heartbeat when you kind of focus in on it. You can feel it's not like a physical, but like a spiritual pulse, a rhythmic pulse, and it seems to gently quicken as you polish it more. And once per long rest, you can add your proficiency bonus to an ally's check as a reaction.
Ooh.
Check only check. But you can like add your proficiency as a bonus to a check, but you have to call it out before they roll it.
Okay.
Would it be possible to just take some time to remake my potion or my poisons and things?
Yeah,
like that?
roll a poison check, so it's just plus proficiency. Because tools don't involve skills. I've reread the rules.
Tools don't involve skills.
Yeah, I know it's stupid. They should, but they don't.
So
So you just have to adjust your DCs.
15.
Like a normal person. Yeah, you remake your whole kit. You're back up to full.
Cool.
Hey,
Huh?
do anything other than cast a spell with your
just
stick?
a spell. Oh,
Okay.
Not much else.
Roll a d20 as you sleep. Roll for nightmares.
20.
You don't get any nightmares, but you feel uneasy when you wake up, as if you don't remember what you dreamed.
Mm.
Dun dun dun! It's better this way. So, you have a varyingly restful night's sleep, although you do wake up feeling relatively refreshed. And the sun is kind of cresting over the horizon off on one side of the hill, kind of painting this whole thing in some stark, long shadows. And there is a lot of dew on the grass and in the forest around you. You approach the door, and
Before we approach the door,
before you approach
I readily start doing morning poses of like yoga and like Pilates to try to get into shape in case I interact anything, and also because it centers my soul.
you have advantage on your first dex-based check, be it save, attack roll, or ability check, because you stretched. Stretching is important, kids. Don't forget.
In the morning, just gonna play a little ditty. And
About Jack and Diane?
No.
Oh, well, sorry.
What's an American kid?
A miserable pile of secrets! Okay.
What?
What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. Come on, you don't know the reference? Castlevania, baby!
I'm sorry.
Dracula!
I'm sorry.
Fucking
Blah blah blah.
not say blah blah blah. So what's your song?
Just sing a song about adventure and exploration.
What?
Like a song just about like
Oh,
adventure.
just a nice little happy song?
Yeah, nice little happy song.
To what end?
Just cheer people up and get ready for the adventure.
Performance check.
Okay,
I help you out with that.
Nope. Too late.
that's fine.
That's weird.
Performance check. That's a 27.
Good God. +1 to your first roll, everybody.
Jesus Christ.
No. Paint Satric. Remember.
Oh God.
So, you, freshly belimbered and everybody lightly inspired, approach the door. It has kind of a very, very large handle, and Idun kind of has a nice cane
You're small.
on one side. Yeah, the handle is about you guys' size. Like, you'd have to do a full squat press to open it. And it's currently kind of just set up on the side of the mountain. And Idun says, the first trial is opening the door.
I'll try.
Okay, athletics check.
I'm gonna pull on Candle's back and just try to give the help action.
Oh, yeah, that tracks.
Wait,
that
can
tracks.
I?
Advantage.
Because
Yeah, if you, new rule, if you want to do a help action, you have to describe how you help.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I should have given you the opportunity, but fuck you.
I figured.
I love you so much.
Oh,
I just like being arbitrary sometimes.
okay. Athletics, you say?
I do say athletics. Athletics. Analytics. Search engine optimization.
39.
Heyo! So, your girl?
What? Never mind. 32. I crit. I don't know how numbers work.
Be that as it may. Your girl, tiefling, just kind of grabs the handle, does like that nice little squat snatch with perfect form, deadlift into snatch, and then just, boom! Olympic style, just throws this big door open.
Does it look like it's gonna come crashing back down?
No, it fully
Okay.
lands on the hillside. It is open the way it is, and it's a kind of weird 45-degree angle down, perpendicular to the door, staircase into the darkness.
I'll be completely honest. I did not expect that to work on my first try. But thank you.
The value of stretching!
Yay!
I'm so sorry, Mike Levels. Mike Levels. That's going to be my next D&D character. He's a bard.
I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights just to guide us
Yeah.
down.
Can I light my tail on fire?
Okay, Charmander. Yes.
Yay!
Yes,
I
you
hold
can.
it out in front of me.
You hold your tail. So yes, you progress into the dark, and for a while this staircase just exists. And it goes an improbably long distance down as I change the music. What's it fucking called? This one. So, you are traveling down into the darkness, and then eventually you get to the bottom of the staircase. It's a couple minutes walk. It is an insignificant distance. And as the floor levels out, you find yourself in a relatively small kind of rectangular room, several 30 feet off to either side and about 20 feet forward. And you note that on the kind of front left, there is another kind of closed archway currently. And off to the left of that, there seems to be a little shrine of just kind of talismans, offerings, kind of burnt remains. A lot of it's very old, although it doesn't seem to be decaying, of just most likely offerings of other orcs on their coming of age journey as they were in here. You see like lots of hand-carved bone talismans, little tools, some like felted art things, just a bunch of stuff, and it's formed a makeshift little shrine.
Can I leave an offering?
Yeah, what do you leave? You don't have to be like strictly from your inventory if
Do I
it's just
have
trinkets.
any flowers on me?
Roll.
Because that would definitely be something.
You
I
have
would-
flowers. You picked up wildflowers during yoga. You're kind of continuously bedecked with
Oh.
flowers. You fucking Disney princess.
Thank you. I want to leave some flowers, and I'm going to say a little hello. I hope that you have a pleasant afterlife, and you make my current life not difficult. Thank you.
Don't roll persuasion, but think about rolling persuasion.
I'm gonna take one of the books that I got from the underwater temple, the intricate fictional novel "Furies of Cauldron."
Calderon. It's a spectacular book series. James
Oh,
Butcher.
that is
Good
okay.
stuff.
I misread that. I'm bad at reading.
We knew this. This is why you're giving up your fictional novel.
Yeah. I'm gonna set that on there, and I'm gonna say, well, I hope you can enlighten my path.
I would like to leave a silver coin and some herbs. Just the stuff I use in making potions and things.
Some
like
potion ingredients?
Yeah, some potion ingredients. And just kind of mutter a quick, Kothram, watch over you.
I'll leave a set of guitar strings and just hopefully to brighten the world. Be a little
That was good.
better sounding.
That was some good Foley. Okay, good to know. Good to know. You all leave your offering as part of the pile, and it's a little incongruous, especially the novel, but it fits somehow. It's kind of suiting, and as you step away, it just becomes part of this whole growing shrine. And there is this door. It's probably about 10 feet wide, gently domed at the top, kind of like the entrance to a hobbit hole if you stretched it out a little bit in Photoshop, a little elliptical. And it is currently obviously a door, like a closed door in a doorway, but it doesn't seem to have any obvious means of opening. There's just an intricate kind of geometric carving and engraving on it, kind of like a continuous Celtic knot that just kind of gently fills up the area of it. Like a very old and simple ornamentation that nonetheless is effective at conveying a certain level of majesty.
Can I trace my hand along the ornamentation?
Yeah, it kind of like bioluminescent algae lights up as your hand traces it. The guy who plays the crab in Moana has had a permanent impact on my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Little bioluminescent algae.
I'll try and just give the door a gentle push, see if anything happens. hands.
The door kind of gently lights up beneath your palm, but does not currently give.
I
I've
cast
dealt with
detect
some stuff
magic on
like
it?
this.
You sure can! Please roll
Yeah.
investigation as your world erupts into violent color as you see the strings and flows of magic around you. Oh wait, no you don't. You erupt into violent color.
I do.
She starts being a disco ball.
Oh, investigation.
Yeah. Actually, or insight. You use insight since it's based on your color spectrum and how
Heck
you
yeah.
feel.
Ooh. That's gonna be a 21.
21! So, enchantment, abjuration. It's like this is an enchanted door that you can see that the color of it reacting to your handprint is just kind of like an assessing force, and it reacts to you, but it's not violent. There's no evocation. It's not going to explode on you.
I want to say, hello, can I come in?
There's no response.
Knock, knock.
You knock on the door and it kind of glows lightly in response to your touch, and then fades like ripples.
And then I just want to clarify that was not me attacking the door. It was a pleasantry. I don't know how old that custom is.
I would like to cast Prestidigitation and blow a little gust of wind under the door. See if it reacts to magic being affected.
Nope.
Magic effect.
It does not react to.
Pull out my flute and play some music.
Doesn't react.
Push hard.
You push hard, and there's a strong glow from where your hands are in contact, but otherwise it does not move. And it seems to be waiting for something. And it seems to be that the door feels like it's very straightforward, is what the door feels like. Do you want to try something?
I should probably touch the door, seeing as I'm the only one who hasn't. at this
You touch the
point.
door. It glows.
We should all touch the door.
Praise be, they figured it out.
Oh no, a puzzle.
This wasn't even a puzzle. This is just the door.
This could take 10 seconds or 10 years. You'd never know.
It's up to the party how well they handle the everyone put their hand on the door to open it puzzle. As you all put your hands on the door, it's initially this kind of light white glow, and then it slowly levels out into different colors surrounding each of your little handprints. Around shadow, it's this weird kind of flowing dark gray and purple kind of just aura candle. It is orange and red,
Oh,
decidedly.
it's my complexion.
Yeah, orange and red. No other colors, definitely.
Okay.
Around your hand, there's a curious swirl of kind of a greenish blue, which seems to be the primary color. But there is traces of this weird nebulous purple adjacent, but it's also like color shifting. It's like purple through green through blue through red, like Aurora Borealis color shifting stream. Like it's literally moving throughout this aura of light around your hand, and it seems to be having a mind of its own. And you. Oh, and there's also some weird sickly blue-green kind of leaching into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
and then
opposed to the nice green blue.
for
Yeah.
you, yeah, you have a nice green blue. There's also
There's
a sickly
a sickly blue-green.
Yeah. You.
Makes perfect sense.
What color is your aura, baby? I was able to clock everyone else real easy. No, you have a dark kind of hunter green with traces of like an earthy rust in it.
Okay.
And there is also a very, very, very faint tracings of that purple aurora. Barely, kind of like dolphins breaching, except that they don't breach. They just cause that surface distortion, that laminar flow, and then they dive back down. Is the presence of this little aurora in your aura? Just because you both make the same bad decisions. Okay.
I think our colors complement one another really nicely.
That was fun. The door kind of rumbles back, and as it rumbles back, just dissolves, and the way is clear. It's a kind of nice tunnel forward, the same shape
Are hands
as.
still glowing?
No, no,
Okay.
it was the door that was glowing
Okay.
around your hands, kind
Oh,
of like a
okay.
cave painting handprint.
Yeah.
Like we're imagerying up
Yeah.
in this bitch.
Okay.
The door dissolves away in front of you, and it is just this long, I guess, hallway / tunnel. It's that same elongated circle. It's called an ellipse. It has a name, and I'm very smart. It's a hallway, and it's just kind of this short, like, imagine you're playing a game on the Switch and the render distance is just shit. It seems like the world is creating itself in front of you.
Well,
Hold
Shall
my
we?
hands.
Both of us put a hand
it's
Now remember, guys, we want to stick together for as long as we can so that we don't get separated. So let's have a buddy system. You guys are related, so you can be buddies with one another.
Hello, buddy.
And you take your steps forward.
Let's go. Start skipping down.
You start skipping down, and as you're skipping kind of around you, the world forms into a different shape, and you find that you are now, very, very decidedly, somewhere else. And in that blink
I
between
feel like we're somewhere else.
between being where you are and being not where you are, you kind of get the impression of a voice, this gregarious, deep-voiced human man. You can kind of clock all of this information in a blink as it says, "Oh, this will be weird." And you all find yourselves on a battlefield that is in the middle of some kind of large-scale combat.
No.
It seems like there is an ongoing battle between an army of humans on one side and a unified army of elves and dwarves on the other. It is kind of seems like getting towards the end of it, but there's still a lot of combat going on in like kind of scattered clumps throughout this field. There's rolling hills all around it, but it seems like this is in the middle of a very small valley or kind of floodplain. And you see a lot of flags and blood and wounded people and fighting people, and it seems like at the center of all of this is a combat between a team of 3 humans, one of which is wearing kind of a crowned helmet, and an elf and a dwarf on the other side, and they seem to be kind of the leaders of the respective armies vying for dominance.
And so they're all fighting each other, or is it the humans versus the 2 others?
Humans versus the 2
Okay,
others.
that's what I thought.
Human army seems to have initially been much bigger and is now only slightly bigger,
Okay.
as they seemed to have been fighting at around parity in power level.
Does it seem like this is maybe something like the formation of the big...
That's the one.
It actually, now that you ask that question and you're looking for those things, it seems to have been much earlier.
Okay.
This is an ancient battle.
We should duck somewhere and not be in the middle of the battlefield.
But what if I want to hit someone?
Well, I don't know how strong these people are.
Those are...
So what if I want to hit someone?
Cothram walks swiftly through this battlefield.
Huh?
Let's hide.
So you 2 hide. Please roll stealth as you, I don't know, hunker under a dead body, cover yourself in dirt. There's not much cover here.
We can hide under creatures that are one size larger than us.
Roll stealth.
All of the creatures are here.
Not the dwarves.
Yeah.
Dwarves.
Dwarves are medium creatures.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So, they're hiding.
They might be short,
do you
but they're
do?
large.
Where's the closest injured person?
About 15 feet to the front of you and on the right.
What are they?
D6. They are a human.
I would like to run up to them, with my hands kind of up and say, "Excuse me, ma'am. I'm gonna make the assumption that this isn't a man because we don't live in a patriarchy. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you okay?
They kind of groan, just like painedly, and they seem half conscious.
Can you see me?
They have a lot of blood kind of streaming out of them, and they do have a full-faced helmet over their face
Oh, okay. Let's
that does have
No,
eye holes, so in
let's
theory
not
they could
have
see
you
you.
bleed. I'd like to try to stop the bleeding.
Oh, medicine. Stealth rolls, boys.
25.
Crit. 25 also.
Delightful.
I quit.
You quit?
I quit.
Well, see ya.
You do your best to kind of do a field dressing, and you eventually stop some bleeding. You.
So much death is happening.
So much.
Yeah,
like a large helmet.
Yeah.
A good 2
a good
tablespoons.
smattering of death.
Yeah, maybe a couple
a
ounces.
sprinkling of death.
Nice airy aroma.
It's more earthy, I think. It's an
I
earthy
think it's
aroma.
more airy.
There's no way I can spare the dying all these people.
That is correct. Thousands. Of
Yes.
people litter this battlefield.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. I'm gonna walk towards the leaders.
Hell yeah. Roll advantage intimidation just for vibes.
Roll what?
Advantage intimidation just for vibes.
Oh, he's dead.
Nat 20.
Hell yeah!
I rolled a 19 and a 20.
That's what we rolled.
1920, 2019.
20.
No. Yeah.
2020. Sorry.
Yeah.
Terrible year.
2020.
You rolled the worst out of us.
I rolled the worst on the 19 on the die. What the fuck?
This is gonna be a whole session and a half.
I crit where I need to.
Anyways.
You crit, and it's beautiful. There's been enough good rolls that now we're just gonna have some fun with it.
Let's do it.
The fighting of everyone within kind of 60 feet of you stops as you walk past, as you are this basically hooded apparition. At this point, you have a hood up, you are wearing all black, you have a bunch of like fucking knives and weird gear all around you, and you have
Vials
like
of poison.
a nice walking stick.
Sure.
Would that, I don't know, do you though?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I
So, as you're kind of walking through this, please roll insight as you are approaching the center of the battlefield. It's a good, like, couple hundred feet, so you have a nice time to get a scenic kind of, like...
Yeah. It's gonna be a 15.
Nice. See if we can start moving towards stealthily.
Yeah, like sneak in the edge of his.
That'll be a disadvantage stealth
Light
check, because it's
space.
hard to look like a moving dead body and get away with it.
Wow, you're right.
Everyone's looking at him.
I
No.
thought about that
Okay.
one.
Like, everyone's looking at him, but on a battlefield, you do kind of
Yeah.
have a twitch response to any movement that's unexpected.
Oh.
And as everyone is
There's
getting
another 19 in there. That's almost a 20.
a little
Yeah.
bit more still, any movement would be very noticed. Bunch of clowns on the
We
right
rolled
side.
the
We rolled the exact same thing.
A bunch of clowns.
So I got an 11.
+1. Oh no, wait, no, that was just for one.
Yeah.
I got a 10.
You have been seen, but you are not like stopped or anything. Like they obviously notice you, but they're just kind of like.
Just stay in the space of his calming, creepy aura.
Calming?
It's
Calming would probably not be the
It's
word.
not calming, and it's definitely not creepy. It's more like confused to the point of extreme caution, I would say.
Intimidating aura.
Can I roll insight on why things have kind of stopped?
No, you don't need to roll insight. It's because there's a single person who very obviously does not belong to either side that
Oh.
is, without a care in the world, approaching the center of the battle, and apparently just those factors alone.
Can I skip up alongside?
Yeah, sure.
I don't skip.
Oh, thank God.
I walk with purpose, but I walk quickly.
Okay, sweet. So we're gonna... Yes, you have these two approaching very directly. You're kind of 1.5 steps behind and to the left of Chipboy's shadow, and you two are sneaking along on the fringes of this aura.
Do we see people looking at us?
Yes, people see you. You have been
I
spotted.
just walk up and
Yeah.
join them
Okay.
at that point then.
Yeah, it's a nice recovery, but people obviously know that you didn't intend to get seen immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm not hiding that part.
yeah.
Okay. And people just kind of at this point stop and gently separate, although the fight in the center is still proceeding at a frenzied pace, 3-on-2. And it seems like there's a mix of swords and sorcery that is being used at the center of this fight. You get towards the fringes of the fight. You're probably at, like, if there was a 30-foot radius arena at the center, it's kind of marked by the various corpses and bodies, and there's a clear area in the center where this frantic battle is occurring. Shadow, what do you do?
Would it be possible to just walk in the center of everyone?
You're
Yeah, sure, what's your AC?
extra.
My AC is 16. And I would like to have both of my daggers drawn in kind of a defensive stance-ish. If any blades come near me, I would want to try and block them, essentially. But I also
I'm
want
gonna
to
roll that as a dodge action
Okay.
because that's the only way I have to kind of rule
Yeah.
it. And I'm gonna say that you are very caught off guard by the skill and ferocity that is on display here, and so one of the humans actually, as you're stepping forward, is kind of in the middle of some kind of move, and you get hit by sword, and you do take 13 slashing damage as this person kind of like stops themselves, very much post-stroke, but just like yo, what the fuck kind of vibes, although they don't say any words at you. And they just kind of like stop and back away, at which point the kind of fighting breaks and they both retreat until there's a 30-foot space between them and they just look at you.
I act as a hand of death. Why do you send so many warriors to Kothram's realm?
The dwarf, who is kind of on that side, kind of tilts his head and his mouth moves, but for a second there's only silence, and then we fight to right ancient wrongs. These humans have disgraced these lands and our people, and they deserve nothing but death. And very obviously the words you hear do not match up with the mouth movements. It seems like it's being translated. And then the crowned human in the center of their three-person formation says, "These creatures seek the extermination of me and my people, and we fight to defend our survival."
There is so much bloodshed, so much violence, so much unwarranted destruction. What on earth makes you all think you have the right to send so many, so violently to Kothram?
The elf at this point kind of levels a short sword directly at you and says, "Do we not have a right to fight for our survival, our existence?"
You have a right to diplomacy before the blade.
Ooh.
There's kind of a pause, and one of the humans, one of the uncrowned ones, them in, let's say, darker armor. There's dark armor, light armor, and crowned
Sure.
of the humans, and they say, diplomacy with these creatures has been doomed to fail time and time again. The human clans have been able to unite, and yet with these creatures we have been unable to reach a truce.
Maybe the problem is that you're calling them creatures.
You see them as creatures, you do not see them as equals.
When you say equals, there's a scoff from the dwarf, like as in the kind of like, yeah, no, we're not equals with these clowns.
I want to throw a dagger at his feet.
At his feet.
Yes.
At the dwarf's feet.
The dwarf's feet.
Roll to hit the ground.
Like on his foot?
No,
No,
like in
no,
between
just
his
at the
feet.
dirt in front of him.
Like a flip flop,
Mhm.
but a blade.
20.
Lands like perfectly between his feet, and he kind of takes a almost quarter step back as he sees this motion.
Do you not see that this language is the problem itself?
Roll persuasion with advantage?
With advantage?
Yeah, you've made some good and well-spoken
Hey,
points.
Logan,
Yeah.
add proficiency. Add +3 to that.
Nice,
'Cause
good,
I like that.
good call. That was good. That was very good.
See, the fun thing is that I disagree. with
17.
you.
Duly noted. Anyone else want to do something, as it seems like there's straight up a breath's time of pause as the warring parties seem to not step back, not disengage, not kind of relax at all, but just consider while still being very tense.
Look at the ground all around you. You fight as equals. You kill each other as equals. You all follow the same and fight the same.
They are still considering. Okay, you don't have to do anything.
I would just like to be a kind of silent. I don't want to. See, if this is like a weird race thing, I don't want to like step in and be like, I understand, because I've only met me, who is who is a tiefling. So I'm like, oh, don't fight, but if you do, fight good. Yeah.
Okay. You two roll singular d20. Yes. As I'm gonna say, you're kind of help actioning with the persuasion, and you did your proficiency boost thing, and so that's what I'm kind of counting it as.
6.
Or a 17.
Excellent. So at this point, this whole scene very obviously freezes, and in this frozen scene, you see kind of the seeds of what was about to happen next, which is the humans are kind of in their three. You see them poised to kind of discuss, although it seems like it would be a heated discussion. The elf looks contemplative, and the dwarf looks violent. is where that scene is, and the voice says, "Your convictions have shown themselves. Now let's see how well they hold up." And you are all
Was this the
suddenly-
same voice?
Same
from
voice.
before? Okay.
Same voice. Male, human, bombastic, disembodied. And then suddenly, your scenes shift. And for you two, you find yourselves next to each other on a canoe. Yeah,
Okay.
on a
We're
canoe.
in a canoe.
Floating down the river. A big river, wide, like Lord of the Rings style, Fellowship of the Ring, that one river that they all were in.
Yeah.
That big one. Lots of forested shit on the side. There's some cliffs
Yeah,
in the
back in
distance.
Eminem.
That's that good stuff. No, I'm not going to remember the names of it. No, you
I
don't
do.
get to say what it is. It doesn't matter. It's not real. And Selwyn, you find yourself in a empty lecture hall, seated in the very center amidst a kind of sea of otherwise empty desks, and you are alone. And Candle, you find yourself in an arena in the center of it, with empty stands all around. Sand around you disturbed, but otherwise unoccupied. Clean, for now.
Oh no.
And let's start with you. So, in this,
Do I have like all of my stuff?
you have all
with
your
me?
shit.
Okay.
You're kind of kitted out.
Yeah.
And in front of you, there's a chalkboard at the top, at the front of this auditorium, and it starts kind of chalk as if someone's drawing on it who is invisible. Words start appearing on
Read
it.
it for a second.
Yeah. So it eventually spells out.
Titties.
It's spelling out a number of just kind of words and then like boxing them. And there's also just it seems like an invisible janitor just cleaning up and knocking over some chairs in the edge of this
Doing my best.
edge of this lecture hall. But it's spelling out some words, and one of them is decisive, cautious, confident, contemplative, and insightful or instinctive. What do you do? It seems like the word writing has stopped.
Myers-Briggs test. But magical.
Can I stand up and go down to the
You-
chalkboard?
You
I would like to. Yeah.
can do that, yes.
I do that. What were the words again? Sorry. Do you remember them?
There are a bunch of dualities and there's some
Okay.
bullshit. Confident, contemplative, cautious, insightful, instinctive.
Decisive. I don't remember was one.
Yeah, decisive's up
Um,
there. I think that's all of them.
I'm just sort of gonna trace my hand over them at first. Just
Kind of, it's chalk on a chalkboard.
yeah. Not like trying to smudge it up, but just sort of like lightly grazing.
It seems like there's a little bit of spark as your hands kind of graze over them. You seem to be being offered a decision.
I sort of take a second to think about it before choosing contemplative.
As you choose and consciously decide on contemplative, you are suddenly transported. You are in a large cavern. There is treasure all around, and a dragon is roaring right towards you, about to bite you, and the scene
Oh.
freezes with its teeth 3 inches away from you. What do you do?
Don't contemplate.
You hesitate.
I'm gonna-
The jaws close, and you find yourself back in that chalkboard
Oh.
room.
Okay. The word's
Contemplative has a kind of like hand streak through it, and it's half erased.
still- Okay. Cool. I get the go up. Instinctive.
Instinctive?
Yeah.
Sweet. You find yourself very, very suddenly. Let's see. Ah, yes. You are at a very, very fancy formal banquet. You find yourself seated at the head table. Some mix of races. Some clown wearing a crown is off to your right, and is kind of boisterously guiding the conversation. There is drinks and food aplenty. Although it seems like a lot of nobility is here, it seems like maybe there's some visiting dignitaries. And underneath it all, you sense an underlying current of political tension. What do you do?
I raise a glass and a toast.
Roll persuasion. Or performance. Roll performance. This isn't a persuasion thing. It's a
Performance?
Yeah.
Alright.
You get
I mean,
performance
it's
beat.
the same thing for me. 11.
11. As you do this kind of swift motion, you see a lot of people's hands kind of twitch beneath the table in response to a sudden motion before steadying as you call out some generic toast to the health of the fucking members
Whoever.
of the attendees.
Yeah.
And after a brief and kind of awkward and incongruous silence, they respond in kind, and some glasses are raised. But everyone is kind of eyeing everyone else, and the scene slowly dissolves around you. And you are back in the lecture hall, and Instinctive is still there, but it's decidedly kind of like smudged. Not as fucked up as Contemplative is, but still
Okay.
not fully intact.
What were the other ones again?
Decisive,
Confident.
cautious, and like maybe two more. I don't know.
Confident.
Confident, and decisive, cautious, and confident. And the other one is gone, and it never existed in the first place. Reality edits itself.
I feel like there was one more, but I can't seem to see it. I go down and pick decisive.
Excellent. As you pick decisive, you find yourself at a war council. There is a map with several little movable figurines on it, and you are in a large gazebo-like tent surrounded by several other people, various races, all in different kinds of armor, and there seems to be a bit of a strategy debate going on. Roll insight.
That's a crit.
Delightful.
So 22.
And in a kind of brief, almost blessed moment of kind of realization, you see this map and you see the arrangement of figures, and you can see that something is missing from it. It seems like there's a hole in the enemy formations where if you were in charge of their dispositions, you would have put something there, but they have no marker in place.
I try and take charge of the situation and move one of our markers towards that hole, or start pointing it out specifically.
This is persuasion.
That is a 17.
Delightful. There's a kind of shocked silence as you just take control of this conversation, but once you, with kind of a confident air, move this token into place and describe why you did it, there is a kind of now respectful, contemplative silence, and then they start discussing what to do in light of this new realization. The scene melts away, and decisive is there, still intact.
Okay.
Cautious
And confident.
and confident.
I sort of hesitate a second and cautiously press cautious.
Cautiously
Yeah.
press cautious. You are on the deck of a ship in the middle of a storm. It seems like the vast majority of the crew, including yourself, has been tied off to lifelines anchored throughout various points of the ship, but you do notice that it seems like a portion of the sail anchor is up on one of the higher mast, and crossbars is poised to come loose in a matter of seconds. What do you do?
I've been on a ship for a while, so I recognize those words.
The whole thing, yeah.
The sail's coming loose.
Sails coming. Thank you.
You didn't get that?
Those were a lot of words. I don't.
Oh, that's fair.
As Mika, do not know a lot about boats.
That's the crying shame. Sail's about to come loose, and because of
Yeah.
the natural tension of all of the lines needed to keep a sailing ship and get force transferred from the sails to the masts to the boat, there's a lot of tension there. If something comes loose, it will probably kill somebody because
Okay.
of whipsawing and like the rate at which these things will, like splinters might happen, bad things,
Okay,
very bad.
sails come loose.
Sail might come loose.
Sail might come loose.
Soon, matter of seconds. You're
Okay.
tied off to a lifeline,
I'm
as
tied off
is
to
most
a
everyone else.
lifeline. How would one go about fixing the sail coming loose.
You just gotta climb the rat lines, get up to the mizzenmast, and
That's what I thought.
That
Cool.
means you probably have to untie your
Yeah.
lifeline.
I untie my lifeline and try and go do that.
okay. Please roll a disadvantage athletics check because it's climbing.
That'd be really fun.
That looks incredibly cocked. It doesn't matter. 6.
6. As you are climbing up, it's loose and you almost get knocked loose a couple times, but you manage to get to the top of this spar, tie off this, secure the line, as they say, and then you are flung off of the ship into the water, and as you splash down, the scene fades as you sink beneath the waves and you find yourself back in the lecture hall. Cautious is there, intact. Maybe like some of the smudges could be in the shape of an underline. And lastly is confident.
No, I go up and confidently hit it.
Sweet. One moment.
You're in a bedroom.
Yikes!
Oh!
That's a good one. Yikes.
Not safe for Twitch.
Okay, so as you lastly hit the confident piece, you are in the middle of giving a presentation. Seems like an academic presentation. You are not necessarily in a professorial role, but this is something that you are expected to know. Think like a conference room style thing.
Yeah.
There are about like 6 to 8 audience members, and this is a presentation on new information that you have recently discovered, and please roll insight.
Oh, so close. 10.
10. And something kind of feels off as you're in the middle of giving this presentation. You are delivering this information. It's information that you know and are confident in, but something about the room feels off. What do you do?
Something about the room? Do you mean like the people in the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the vibes.
I'm going to start like interacting with the people when I'm talking, sort of like asking them questions on what they think, and sort of like trying to pull information out of them while I'm giving my presentation.
That'll be insight.
Alright, Professor.
Yeesh.
Professor.
8.
Professor.
As you are kind of going one by one through these people, you don't really detect, you can't really nail down what it is or if it's a specific person, but that feeling of something off kind of intensifies, and yeah, you don't really get much more information than that other than, yes, something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
And as you kind of hesitate in the middle of this presentation, the most kind of professorial looking person says, like, something to the effect of, if you don't finish this presentation quickly and with much better quality, like, no hesitations are accepted, this is part of your final grade type of thing. Like, it seems to be pressure is being leveled at you.
Okay.
But something still feels off.
Something still feels off besides the pressure that's already
Yeah,
there.
the pressure is normal, expected.
Does it feel like there's something off with the work that I've done, with the information that I've put forward?
It's hard to tell.
Hard to tell. Okay.
You thought, like, you would have been thinking, I love grammar, that this information was correct and accurate to the best of your ability, and this feeling of offness only started mid-presentation, and it seemed to get more intense or more focused when you started questioning the people in the room.
In that case, as soon as this professorial person does that, I sort of go back up to the front and almost impersonally finish the presentation, doing like the facts that I know, doing like the information that I was confident in going into this, sort of retreating back to what I know is true, and sitting in that, and not interacting with what feels off in the room, sort of letting that sit on that side of the room, and doing what I know I can do.
As you are giving this presentation, you kind of realize the shape and scope of the information that you are discussing, and it's a weird dissociative out-of-body experience as you, Selwyn, are learning something as you, this person in this vision, is saying something that they have spent countless hours researching, and you realize it is about it's a presentation on the mechanics of teleportation and dealing with getting past wards and dealing with establishing teleportation wards, and very specifically being able to accurately and reliably travel to a place that you haven't personally been before, based on kind of additions and enhancements to a magical ritual. And as you are getting towards the end of this presentation, this research presentation, this person, have made some breakthroughs, have kind of pushed new boundaries, and have really this would be a doctorate thesis in magical bullshit. And as you get to the end of this, one of the people on this council, on this audience, takes a step back, kind of violently stands up, and takes out of their shirt two things. One, a sending stone that you can see has been transmitting this whole conversation somewhere else. And lastly, this crystal, this glowing crystal, and they say, "Thanks for the info. Crush it." And the scene freezes right as an explosion comes out of this crystal, set to consume the whole room. And you find yourself back in the lecture hall.
All I ever wanted was to graduate.
That was wildly uncomfortable.
And you look to the right, and sitting kind of playfully on the desk is a very built man in kind of custom-made leather armor, very rustic, very kind of barbarian adjacent. Like, we got some bare arms, we got a leather vest with some fur lining. He's got like just a whole mess of weapons strapped all across his body, and he's just looking at you like, "Well, that seemed like it was instructive." So, Candle, you're next.
Hi.
Love you.
Okay.
Hey, Candle, you were in an arena, weren't ya?
I am.
And as you're there, first it's empty. It's kind of like if the stage lights of a theater are off, all of the house lights are off, and the only thing that's on are a couple work lights over the stage. So it's a strange feeling. The edges of your vision and the edges of this room are all dark, and the quality of light in the center is very clinical and relatively unflattering. But this slowly, kind of gradually, shifts towards full production mode, and there are now moving spotlights all across this arena. There is kind of torches lit up all around, and slowly the roar of a disembodied crowd fills the space. And booming throughout the arena, we have a voice that kind of boisterously introduces you as simply the arena champion, defends her title versus the worst the world can throw at her. And kind of across from you, this big crackling gate opens up, and a creature of monstrous proportions is forced into the arena at spear point. These disembodied silhouettes, vaguely humanoid shape, are kind of like wearing armor, and they are armed, but they are ushering this creature into the arena, and it kind of snaps at them, but in response is jabbed by these very, very long spears until it is fully in the arena, at which point its ties are released and its handlers retreat back behind the gate, and it turns towards you in a kind of feral presentation of aggression. And it's this weird, monstrous, chimera-adjacent creature. It has 4 legs and kind of a very large eagle-adjacent head, but when it opens its beak, there are lines of spines on the inside. Kind of like a goosebill. It's horrific.
I like that.
As it's like there's little teeth in the beak, and it has kind of like griffin-style claws on its front paws, and weird bird-like back feet. And you note that it has the stumps where wings once were coming out of its back. It snaps at you aggressively and starts prowling towards you in a circling, kind of assessing motion. What do you do?
I would like to stand my ground firmly and like look at it in a almost respectful manner and give like a respectful almost bow, keeping it in my line of sight, but as like a
Okay,
I almost feel bad for this creature,
Mhm.
but from all that I have seen it be treated as, and so I am trying to show it some respect.
roll animal handling. Everybody gets a personalized scene.
Animal
It's my favorite thing to do. I've discovered recently.
There you go.
It's like, I'm gonna try and make some called shots about your character. Let's see how it works out.
That's a crit.
That's a crit.
Yeah.
Yes. So as you see, it's like this is a fucking like Disney Princess Cross How to Train Your Dragon ass
Yeah.
scene where you just kind of stand to your full height, not drawing any weapons, and you gently incline your head towards this monstrous creature, and it pauses. And some lingering kind of awareness in its eyes flickers into greater strength as it realizes it's not in current danger right now. And it inclines its head to you in turn. And it stops circling, and you two approach each other in a kind of mutual understanding, gauging your reactivity, gauging the aggression in the room. And as you guys get closer, the roar of the crowd both fades out of your awareness, but also gets more intense and turns less approving, I will say. And as you get to the center of the ring, this creature, it kind of inclines its head to you and turns away. What do you do?
Honestly, I would like to still keep the creature in my mind, and then turn to the audience and be like, shame on you. Just say it. Just shame on you. And then I want to step forward and see if I can.
As you kind of loudly denounce the audience, your awareness of your surroundings comes back full force. The roar of the crowd is now less of a roar and more scattered and periodic boos. You see some rotten fruit and fantasy popcorn being tossed into the
Delicious!
ring. As you turn back towards this creature, and as you reach out, this creature kind of looks back towards you in kind of curiosity. As you're reaching out towards it, you hear that announcer say, "Ah, what a shame, folks. It looks like our champion is retiring." And there's a kind of twang of a very heavy crossbow string, and the scene changes.
Okay.
You are now astride a horse, and you are galloping down a valley. There is kind of cliff walls on either side, periodic waterfalls joining this large river that you are galloping down next to. And you look to either side of you and behind you, and you are leading an army. And it is kind of a full-on charge, and as you look back towards where you're going, you are leading a charge towards a small outpost. It's this little, obviously, military encampment. It has some crude wooden stake walls and tents and lightly permanent defenses, but obviously they are very, very outnumbered. As your army encircles this little encampment, what do you do? It seems that though they know they are doomed, they are mustering a competent defense. They have a ring of archers. This is a small, a couple dozen people, and their commander stands at the center. Big spear drawn. They seem to be kind of shouting out orders and preparing their men for battle. What do you do?
See, I'm having an internal debate because, and let me explain.
This would be a lot of work for you not to get introspective, so I'm thankful.
I'll explain my internal debate. Candle has always been, I've always been one to initiate violence. In our recent combats, I tend to be one of the most offensive people. But at the end of the day, I don't really feel the innate desire to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I am not attached to this effort, I almost feel as though my command is for naught, if it will. Because what am I fighting for? Can I try to roll insight to see what I'm fighting for?
No, actually.
See,
it's a strange shape that this scene is. You, Candle, you realize now, are inhabiting someone else's body.
Yeah.
But what you do realize as you get lightly introspective is that this body is still the body of a tiefling. And as you approach this encampment, your army behind you, in a very well-practiced and executed maneuver, spreads out on their mounted cavalry and surrounds the encampment, so there is no chance of escape, but does not attack. And seem you see what is obviously a lieutenant, this one a kind of half-elf woman, who is evidently your right-hand person, kind of just gives you a silent nod behind her leather armor and her very many weapons, and steps back and seems to be waiting for you to do the first approach to set the tone for this engagement. And while you, Candle, are obviously inhabiting someone else's body, you, Candle, decide what to do.
I would like to approach the commander.
The commander's at the center of his little
Yeah.
platoon
I
squad,
would
so
like
you can
to-
approach that front line.
I would like to approach the front line and say, it appears that we have reached an impasse.
He kind of plants his spear in the ground and says, well, that's awful nice of you to say, but it seems like you're going to roll over my encampment just like you've done all the rest.
How about I don't roll over your entire encampment, just you?
Would you agree to let my troops return home if you face me in single combat?
They seem like noble fighters. It would be a waste to waste their life.
He kind of nods, and it's at this moment that this kind of, I guess, unfamiliar thought enters your head, almost as if it's part of this other person that you are, that kind of just says that normally when people offer trial by combat, they make a request for what happens if they win. This person made no such effort. As he kind of picks up his spear again, kind of stretches his shoulders, he barks out a few commands, and the troops break formation. They all go straight to their tents, grab like just the basic necessities, backpacks. They leave everything else, only what they can just grab once, and then they start leaving. And your person that you are kind of makes a singular hand motion, and your encircled encampment of horses leaves them an exit. Back. Well, not back, just like in the same direction that you were riding, so farther away. And they pack up, and this person kind of picks back up their spear and takes a fighting stance and says, get on with it then. And you fight.
We fight.
And it's over quickly. You set up camp as the troops as the remaining people of this encampment go back home. And as they are leaving and as you are kind of wiping this person's blood off of your blade, your lieutenant says, should we let them keep walking? Almost with an expectation of you saying no. And then the scene changes. Let's see. Ah, yes. You find yourself in chains.
I find myself in chains.
Yes, you are in a small, very, very heavily made carriage with bars on very small windows lining the top of it and a very heavily locked door on the front part of this compartment. You are chained to the back corner, your ankles, your feet, your hands and wrists.
Both my ankles and feet are chained separately.
Yes, well, hooves. You
You
know
got
how it
those,
is.
those toe chains.
Ooh. A ring.
Toe chains. The
Toe
famous
chains.
fantasy rapper. Toe chains. Okay,
Oh
so
no. What have I done?
you committed a very good crime. You are chained up in this carriage, and you are alone. It has been a long time since you've had anything resembling enough food or water, so you feel abused. And you have been trundling along in this carriage for some time. As you do, how do you feel about this? Describe Candle's internal response to this scene as it trundles along unchanged for some time. You are chained up, you cannot move. You are unarmed, and you cannot really do anything to get out of these.
This vision actually feels the most personal to Candle because she's always had a residual fear that people would be afraid of her and put her in chains and like lock her up. And so this feels a lot more like it's not necessarily, it's harder for her to distinguish if this is me feeling the experience of someone else or me just being me in the whatever future this happens in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of freaks her out a little bit.
Duly noted.
But she tries to she tries to keep the chipper chipness, the chip on her shoulder.
The chipper on her shoulder?
The chipper on her shoulder. That is the perfect way to describe Candle. And she, is there any way for me to, like, see outside or anything?
The windows are too high, and the chains do not give you enough range of motion. The sky is overcast.
Can I rage?
No. As you attempt to dip into that well of power, you find not only is it not there, it is both empty and blocked off.
Oh. I'd like to knock on the carriage and say, yoo-hoo.
There's no response. And as you try to speak, your voice comes out scratchy and distorted. And it's hard to get words out.
No.
Eventually, the carriage comes to a stop, and there is a rattle of chains as this, it seems like, convoy is finally reached its destination. There is some muted sounds of footsteps and rattling of chains and wood kind of clacking against each other. And then eventually the door is opened and dusty light streams into this very, very dark carriage. And you see two people in armor step forward into this carriage. One of them kind of steps forward and whacks you over the head with a stick. And you are dizzy as they unhook your chains from the edge of this carriage and hook it to this big pole that they stretch your arms between, and it's kind of resting on your shoulders as they usher you out of the carriage and into this open square. Seems like you're in the center of a large square, and the day is overcast. It is a muggy, humid heat, and you see in the center of the square there is a large pile of wood and about 4 poles set up in the center of it. You look around and you see there are 3 other people, 2 elves and a halfling, who are similarly chained as you, although you seem to be getting the most of attention.
Am I a tiefling?
You are a tiefling, and there is a crowd gathered.
Are they gonna light me on fire?
And as you kind of regain your awareness, you find yourself being chained to a central pole of this arrangement above what is very obviously a pyre in making.
Oh God!
The 3 other people are similarly chained up to other poles, just kind of half dangling. And there is a large crowd looking on over you, and several of those armored people are kind of going about the business of finalizing this pyre. There's a strange fluid that is being poured over the sticks, and additionally you see a mage in robes inscribing runes encircling this little pyre in the making. It seems like this is going to not be just a normal fire. And some priest or priest-adjacent person gets up on a podium, starts making a speech about witchcraft and demonic influence and cleansing the world of this horrible, horrible filth. And in that moment, you think you might be imagining it, but maybe not. There is a small break in the clouds, and a stream of sunlight hits you kind of just square on. What do you do?
I want to try to channel my energy in the warmth of whatever is, of like the ray that is basically hitting me on the face, as if it might be the last thing I experience, but it also is, I try to see if I can find any of that familiar power that I once was so familiar with when I did feel the full effects of like warmth and like sunlight.
And as you reach for this, there's a strange dissonance in your awareness. You are not Candle, but Candle is who is aware right now.
Yes.
And as Candle reaches for this greater awareness, suddenly it's like reality fractures around you, although it seems like maybe it's you are fracturing within reality, and you see several things all happen in parallel, and they're all very different. You see one scene where this tiefling that is not Candle kind of flexes, breaks out of his chains, and lands in the pyre, setting it alight, but the flames do not hurt her nor the other 3 people on the pyre. And this tiefling walks up to the priest mid-speech and grabs him by the throat and squeezes.
Yeah.
And then starts going on a rampage throughout the crowd. You see a scene where this tiefling that is not Candle kind of closes her eyes in the sunbeam, the clouds close over her, and a strange blue flame is set to the pyre, and she simply closes her eyes and looks up and waits. You see another scene where she kind of closes her eyes, concentrates for a bit, and the manacles begin to glow red until suddenly she vanishes in a poof of ash and is never to be seen again. The priest's speech kind of falters for a bit, but then the fire is lit and the other 3 people are consumed. There are many variations on this scene that you see all at once, and then suddenly you find yourself sitting in that kind of room in the tower where you first met Lantern. On one end of a large banquet table, there is windows and doors all around, and they're all closed. But where last you saw Lantern, you see a very, very kind of large, burly human, arms out, fur-lined vest, lots of weapons, and he's just like, bruh. And we're going to go to you two. And before we go to you two, we are going to take a brief break,
All right.
because I have to use the restroom. And probably we should take our intermission, yes?
Yeah, a little quick intermission. Probably, 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
15 minutes? All right.
We'll
Cool.
be back at 12:50-ish.
Yeah.
Woo.
Something like that, yeah. See you soon. Maybe.
I love you. You're lovely.
Well, okay, so I realized
Do you
throughout.
have the studio view open? Sorry. keep talking.
Yeah, I have studio.
I realized
Can we
actually.
get like the table out of the view of this camera?
I realized that Candle only fights someone, it only really resorts to violence, true violence, when she feels that she is sticking up for an undeserving creature that is experiencing violence.
Nice.
I need more.
Perhaps that is cowardly.
Logan, do you know all the people in chat? Or at least-
No, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, what is
Because I know
happening?
Cass.
Yeah,
Who's
Cass
Cass?
is there. That's Cassandra.
What do you want? A girl
Oh wait,
with
you weren't
a
there for the
ball.
superhero bit.
Yeah.
She's a high school friend of mine, swing friend of Dylan's.
Yeah. Commander Root, that name sounds familiar.
Is that Mortiz?
Commander Root? Yeah.
Yeah.
it is. I'm pretty sure.
But I don't know Dorian Fitz, Risket, or Cyril Lou.
Dorian Fitz is my friend from high school.
Okay.
But that's it.
Oh,
We still-
they can hear us.
Oh.
Oh, wait, shit.
Bitch!
Woo! Fuck! video's there. Now the audio's there. Look at me doing things. I can see the audio is active. That's all I care about at this point.
Wait, very important. Can I? Okay, this is my impression of Pac-Man dying.
Very good. Also, real quick, to do our traditional quick little shout out that we do for all of the new followers we've gained.
All of them.
Well, we actually have 3.
Wild.
So we have Shoju Kakahi, we have Easy Pig, and Risk It 115. Thank you all so much for the new follows. We appreciate you.
I think those 3 I'm going to collectively term Weeaboo Barbecue.
Weeaboo Barbecue.
Yeah,
You have now been denoted by our lovely DM that you are the Order of Weeaboo Barbecue.
You can just say anything
Aaron,
on
you
the
got
internet.
a compliment on your impression.
You did.
I did?
You did.
Thank you!
You give her 1 scrap of validation, she's going to come to your house and ask for more, so be careful.
All right.
Love you. You're doing great.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Can't let you
I
just
think
say
they're on a
anything.
boat.
You're on a boat
And
and
it's going
slow.
fast.
Oh,
It's
wait a minute.
it's a canoe. It's not like going anywhere. You
Do
two
we have
are-
a paddle?
No, you are. in
Oh,
fact,
no!
Without a paddle, floating peacefully down the center of this stream.
Okay.
And cats don't like water. Sorry.
Oh.
You're not a cat.
Well, this is nice.
This is definitely a different scene change from the previous battlefield. Do you recognize this place?
No.
No. Do you?
I do not either, do I? Do I
No.
recognize this place?
No.
No. I have never been here before. It is new to me.
Yeah. Well, might as well make the most of it. Kind of lean a little bit and start whistling.
Do I have all of my things with me?
You got all your shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are fully kitted out, and you are yourselves.
I'm gonna whistle in my whistling voice that Marrow can definitely do, and I also definitely can.
Can you not whistle?
I just want to look around a bit and just get a vibe.
Okay.
Vibe check.
Yeah.
Vibe check. Roll perception.
Nat 20.
Oh hell yeah! This is gonna be great. So you look around and you realize that this is very obviously not like a vision of a real place or kind of a tour of an existent landscape because of the fact that it kind of changes as you scan the horizon. Like you do a scan and it's just like, okay, we got 4 trees there and they're nice and tall, and then you scan the other bank and you look back and it's just like, there's 8 trees and they are definitely a different species. This is a shifting kind of dreamlike landscape. And you're just like, I should, and then you look in front of it, and suddenly there's a great big waterfall that you're headed towards with no ability to steer away from it. And this boat inevitably kind of goes forwards, and before you can even say anything to warn Chaboy Whistlesworth over there on the end of the canoe, you tip off the end of the waterfall, and you are both free-falling through the air.
I grab Shadow.
Roll a duck save with disadvantage, because you are surprised.
Yeah, well, your boy doesn't pay attention. Dex save.
Yeah.
Disadvantage. How's a 20 sound?
You reach out, and as your hand brushes Shadow's kind of cloak, as the end of his hood, as you are free falling through the air, suddenly the scene changes. Dun 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 dun. So let's start with Shadow. Shadow, you are
Falling off a waterfall.
no,
Oh.
you're in a different place now, motherfucker.
Have you not been following
are-
any of this?
Well,
No, we've been
Shadow
making
hasn't.
things.
So you are on the outskirts of a walled city, a
Okay.
very advanced walled city made
Okay.
of stone and metal and glass.
Okay.
And you are preparing defenses. You are kind of touring the walls and the kind of traps set in front of the walls, and you are preparing for a siege. There is a dust cloud on the horizon, and you find that yourself and everyone around you is stressed. It seems like this is not a battle that you all expect to
Okay.
win. What do you do?
Alright, what do I appear to be doing? Like, I've just kind of yoked in here.
As you contemplate your surroundings and almost dissociatively analyze your actions as you are doing them, you seem to be acting the part of a mid to low level commander preparing his men for a siege. There are kind of just soldiers digging trenches and setting up traps or preparing armor, doing generic kind
Okay.
of maintenance and repair as they prepare. Some of them are telling jokes, some of them are playing card games. You are effectively kind of walking around, making sure everything's ship shape.
Okay. Can I see how shipshape things are?
Things are decently ship-shaped,
Okay.
but there's an overwhelming sense of pessimism as you are touring this, and you have a nice little dissociative moment as Shadow, as you've been touring the Veden Federation for a year, and you've seen ruins in the Veden Federation. And those ruins have been of all sorts of different ages, of all sorts of different kind of
Okay.
levels of investigated.
Okay.
And you've picked up a decent amount of them, and the structures that you are seeing are older. Or rather, they will have been older. Right now they are modern. Right now they are cutting edge.
Okay.
And
But they're ancient in my time.
ancient in your time.
Okay.
Predating the old ruins.
Okay. Want to give motivational speech, can't think of motivational speech.
You... this is... So first of
Truly
all,
an inspiration.
first of all, big mood. It's at this point that you realize that you are a centaur. And as you are kind of trotting about these defenses, it is time for big motivational speech. It is kind of nightfall, and every member of your company is gathered around a large central courtyard on top of the wall. This is a big wall. This is an Attack on Titan level, like 30-foot wide, 60-foot tall wall.
Okay.
Imagine Attack on Titan, but it's not written by a fascist.
Imagine
Excellent.
if I'd never seen Attack on Titan.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. You're doing great. It's a big fuck off wall.
Okay.
Maybe you're the weeaboo squad.
Are you the weeaboo barbecue
Takes
all
one
along?
to know one, but I don't have enough meat to be a barbecue. More like an appetizer. Anyways.
No, you're just ribs.
Just a snack.
Heyo!
Just a snack.
I do be kind of snacky though. So, it is time to give this motivational speech, and you kind of almost on instinct, like, get a nice Pacific Rim canceling the apocalypse style vibes going, and as you're reaching the crescendo of this, you realize that your boss, your commander, and rather the general of the defenses of this whole city, is off to the side, and so you wrap up your speech with kind of a nice crescendo. There's some great one-liners that are delivered. Idris Elba is there. It's spectacular.
I'm just that good.
Yeah, it's
What
really
can I
great.
say?
I don't know, and you don't know either.
Yeah, that's about right.
um,
No, that was a cry for help, actually. What can I say?
but you wrap up your speech, and there is a moderately motivated roar, although it seems like everyone knows the odds against which you face. And you trot up towards your commander.
Okay.
And this is a quiet person, and you get a kind of foreign memory download
Okay.
as you approach this 9-foot-tall, pale-skinned humanoid with 6 fingers. And you incline your head as a gesture of deep respect.
Okay.
And you kind of go to say something, and this person just holds out a hand and says, I know, it's not looking good. But I have, well, new orders for you. You are to place your lieutenant in charge of your company, and I need you to lead an expedition away from the city. We will not survive this, but maybe our people and our knowledge might have a chance. Go south.
I know where to go.
Excellent. Good. Great.
The gods will remember us.
They better. Roll insight.
Ah, that's such a piss poor roll. Insight is wisdom. That's gonna be a solid 10.
A solid 10. This person's attitude towards the gods when he says they should is the same air as an elderly parent in a retiring home saying that their child better visit them in 3 months. It's a strange vibe.
Okay.
The scene changes.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you. Hello, Marilyn. How you doing?
I don't know where I am. Where
Excellent.
Am
So, in between one blink and the next, you are reaching out towards Shadow's cloak as you are falling down this massive waterfall, and then suddenly, you find yourself. Where do you find yourself? You find yourself on a floating ship. A kind of, think upside down dirigible style thing. There is a large balloon-shaped object, and it is all beneath you. It is holding up this large platform, kind of aircraft carrier-style ship's deck.
Okay.
And you are buzzing your way through the clouds, and you find yourself at the helm, steering this ship, and the sky suddenly turns to night. There is a kind of sickly aurora that suddenly crawls its way over the sky, kind of like a slime mold in fast forward. And the crew around you springs into well-practiced motion, setting up defenses, setting up magical wards, and before too long your ship is under a cloak of some strange magical nature. But they look to you and say, Captain, orders.
So, sorry, that last part.
Captain, your orders.
Yeah. Keep watch. We're going to move through this. We have to get through as fast as we can. We want to be safe.
Yes, roll a survival check. And you find that your words actually escape you, but it feels comfortable. It's like stepping into a jacket that was tailored right for you. These words continue flowing from your mouth. Organizing orders are happening, but your awareness as Merwin takes a step back.
Survival is 17.
Delightful. You steer your ship through this storm, and at first it feels like this cloaking is working, but eventually a tendril from this aurora becomes very physical and very real, and like a lightning bolt strikes against the shield that the ship has, and you see now transparent cracks, almost like a broken mirror, appear around you as this cloak is beginning to get damaged.
Okay.
What do you do?
I want to take the ship and try and dive into the clouds.
Perfect.
Get a lower position and try and hide in the clouds.
Okay.
Guide through them.
As you drop through the clouds, this weird aurora-like storm seems to follow you in an unconscious but very heavy way. It's like the sky is dropping with you as you fall through the clouds, and the clouds dissipate as you enter them.
Okay, in that case, I want, everyone go to port side, fire all cannons, try and give a distraction.
Okay. As you bark out these orders, these cannons, some of which are not so much cannons as conduits for magical power, are leveled all towards one side, and this fireworks display of weaponry explodes off on your port side, and you see the Aurora's lightning bolts strike those weapons mid-flight and seem to almost reverse the explosions and absorb that magic. And you see this, and it is a familiar sight, but it gives your ship enough of a reprieve that you're able to actually duck beneath the clouds. And now you are flying this ship probably 500 meters above the surface of this kind of forested landscape. You are headed towards the mountains, and the world is dark. What do you do?
I think right now, alright, we made it through that one, and we'll keep making through every danger from here on out. We'll make it to our destination. Where are we going?
Beautiful. You find yourself pointed towards a mountain range, and as you consult your maps and your log, you have basically the world's messiest desk right next to this helm station, and all of these maps are pointing you towards the center of this incredibly complex mountain range. It's not so much a mountain range as it is the shape of like veins or splinters or cracks in the surface of something that is stretched out across this continent. And for a brief, weird moment, this map looks familiar, although you've only ever seen a small portion of it before. But it looks like this continent is spider-webbed with mountain ranges, and all of these mountain ranges meet in the center. And that is where you are heading.
Oh.
And the scene changes. Shadow!
Hi.
Let's see. You find yourself and your one companion, Marilyn. You two are not yourselves, but at the same time are. It's a strange little dichotomy. You are both humanoids and you are both roughly the same height. And you are approaching the doors at the base of this very, very tall tower, and it is with a overall feeling of doom and gloom under which you are walking. The streets of this city are empty, although they are not unpopulated. It just seems like the few people who have remained in this city are not exactly up to wandering about, and you have business in this tower. As you approach, what do you do? The sky is overcast.
Let's keep moving forward, I guess.
You are taller. Yes, of course. Yes, into
You're
the
shorter.
this tower.
I'm taller, you're shorter.
So, the two of you go into this tower and you go towards the center where the elevators are. One of you keys in a kind of relatively complex entry code, kind of password to activate the elevator. The other of you shuffles several scrolls under one arm. It seems like you have one last report to make. You step into the elevator and you are catapulted into an instant, though you feel no motion, towards the top. There is this large singular room on top of this tower, kind of like an inverse lighthouse where you can see everything, but nothing here can see in. This is a very heavily warded space, and in it is a singular humanoid figure, about 9 feet tall, hairless, pale skin, 6 fingers.
Does it look like
Similar,
Indra?
not the same.
Okay.
And this is your boss, as you realize. This is the person to whom you are making the report. And as you approach, you both kind of take a singular knee, bow your heads, and in unison say, "My liege," before standing up. The one of you with the reports setting them out over a kind of large but barren conference table, and the other of you taking position and readying your various illusory magics to do a fantasy PowerPoint. As this is all setting up, however, you feel again that same strange dissociation between what you're doing and what this body and this other person is doing, and you, Selwyn, and you, Shadow's awareness and influence on
Merrow.
events. Frickin' Merowin. Same boy. Different boy, but same boy. So, things are happening and report is in process of being given. This person doesn't seem to be listening fully. He seems to mostly be staring out the windows and brooding. What do you do?
What do we seem to be giving a presentation on?
As you kind of focus your awareness towards that, seems to be something of a last-ditch going to ground and colonizing movement. It seems like there have been several expeditions that have been sent out as one city after another has fallen to try and go to ground to wait out whatever is happening, and it seems hard to truly understand what's going on, but this is a apocalyptic event, and your reports are concerning survival of life in general.
Sir, these reports we're giving are very important. It might be the last chance for our people. Please, we need your full support in this.
He kind of nods his head and takes a step back from the window, definitely stops dissociating just as heavily as he was before, and he says, yes, I know, but well, at this point, plans are in motion, and my influence on events is going to be coming to a close. Your people will survive, and that's what matters. However, there is one last matter that I need to find a way to save, to get settled, to get communicated. And right now it defies all attempts at record keeping. Maybe I'll try and show you. And he just walks past this table and heads towards the elevators.
Follow.
In a kind of perfectly befuddled but trusting air, you follow this king, you suppose. And he keys in another code to the keypad by the elevator, and what the elevator is this big empty tube with various half-visible streams of magic affecting gravity and inertia, distorting light through the space, but it's otherwise just an empty tube with a shit ton of very dimly glowing runes lining every surface. And as he keys in this code, the tube blinks out of existence, and suddenly you are facing a door. He goes up to this door, kind of enters some kind of arcane password that is partially visible and partially just all mental, and this door cracks open, and you are suddenly looking at the entrance to a very large circular chamber that seems very prison-y vibes. It seems like something is being kept here. He motions you inside.
My liege, what is this place? Where are we?
Well, call this the beginning of the end of the world, is what it is. This is my fault. And as he steps into the room and you follow, you find and finally see what it is your eyes have been unconsciously avoiding this whole time. At the center of this is what was once a person. What was once one of these humanoid, very tall, hairless people, one of the ancients is what we're going to be calling this race. But they are hazy. Their outline is indistinct, and they're in the center, floating, of this glowing sphere. Seems like kind of a prison, almost. Like just this large 15-foot radius glass sphere, transparent, but glowing from some internal luminosity within. It's almost like they're suspended in a fluid that is made out of pure light and energy. Their eyes are closed, but it seems like they are slowly dissolving into this shifting aurora-like light. And he kind of looks at it and then looks at you and says, "You might not remember this. You might not get out of this experience alive, but it might be the only way that the future will figure it out. You can always step away." What do you do?
What needs to be done?
He kind of nods at you and whoever you might have been, and he looks to you.
I trust that this will help the future.
He nods as well, and he goes up to this glowing sphere and touches it in two spots. And even though this isn't really how geometry works, those spots are at exactly eye level for both of you, and this shining beam of light erupts from the sphere and impacts both of you. Center of the forehead, and in one sense, you die immediately. But in the other sense, Shadow and Merowyn, you linger as this king begins to explain. And he says, hopefully this cycle of reincarnation stuff isn't purely theoretical. And he starts to explain. And the scene dissolves. But you get the feeling that it's there somewhere. And you are both now sitting on one end of a desk, and on the other end of the desk, his feet propped up against it, his leather vest lined with fur, and his assortment of weapons scattered across the desk in front of him, is a very burly human man, and he's just like, well, shit.
With that specific squeaking.
His chair is just not oiled at all. And then he kind of like, no, this is too confusing, all these parallel awarenesses. One second. And he, in front of each and every one of you, says, I don't want to explain this multiple times. And he kind of like squints and just looks like a little constipated. And then suddenly, you are all sitting around a campfire. All of you. And he is kind of on a nice long wooden bench on the other side, legs akimbo, all just kind of like just lounging. And this is a setting in which he feels very comfortable.
I would like to note that this is not a setting I feel comfortable because I was almost burned at the stake in one of the bedrooms.
Sorry, 1 second. And he kind of waves his hand and this water bucket appears out of the air and he grabs it and just kind of like, whoosh, and now it's just smoldering coals. And he's just like, this is better for sightlines anyways. If you were sitting directly across the fire, I couldn't really see you and it just fucks with your night vision. So, just don't worry about it.
Okay.
Here, have some s'mores. And he kind of empty air and forms into a skewer with a little marshmallow on it, and he just chucks it at you over the coals. It's good for you.
Oh my.
Throws the spear at you?
No, it's a little skewer. It's not a spear. Spears are not this dinky ass little stick.
I
S'mores.
would like to note that
S'mores.
I light the end of my tail on fire and make the s'mores over my tail.
That's delightful. It's beautiful.
So,
Yo, what's up?
Sorry.
what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Who are you?
They called me Lana.
Lana.
Del Rey?
No, but I love her music.
Who?
Who?
Owls. Owl City. Another great artist. Okay. I'll cut right to the chase because you guys aren't the little orclings that I'm used to dealing with. And I usually at this point give them a little vision quest, say some inspirational words that I then make them mostly forget, except it leaves an indelible mark on their soul. Been picking up a little poetry in the century since. And
Oh, me too.
Since...
and no, sheesh, I'll get there. Sheesh. Boy be talking, me talk. You know, no talk. Eat your s'more. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, normally this would be the time where I give you a little vision quest and we go on a stroll through the woods and you like wrestle a bear or get your kind of find a clarity in your soul's purpose. And that's not what's gonna happen for you guys. Sorry about that. But hey, I'm not in charge of the strings of fate or whatever the shit. So, who is my favorite of this group? I always have a favorite. No cozying up to the judge.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Were
I'm
you
sorry.
two in your same vision?
What?
Were you two sharing a vision?
I've been all alone since we,
Oh yeah, no, we
We're
have
on
the
the
ones who
battlefield.
did an outspoken and very risky effort at peace, and they had the little team thing, and then you two had very different perspectives on that little battle scene, and so we had to test you separately. And by we, I do mean me. This is my little temple, although I don't run all the subroutines. Bunch of magical bullshit. I just kind of
Personally,
control the vibes.
Shadow is my favorite. If I could give a recommendation.
I remember now. Everybody roll a d20. Who's my favorite?
Not me, I rolled a 3.
Who's to say there are lower numbers?
There were exactly 2 lower numbers on the die.
It wasn't 14.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah. 18.
14.
Ah, yeah.
I rolled a 19.
He kind of looks at you, and he's just like, I don't know how that happened. Anyways, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Just make better choices.
Why does everyone keep telling me that?
I would have told myself that too. Don't worry. You're
I mean,
fine.
it's not like we make good choices.
I know, but I don't need to be reminded all the
You
time.
wicked dude, though, bro. Like, bro. You wicked dude, though. It's fine. It'll be fine unless it won't. Don't worry. It'll make you stronger unless it kills you. So,
I'm not dead yet.
yet is the operative word, my man. There's all of this lovely soul energy that's trapped in your little mortal form, and it's not supposed to get all released yet. So just
So
chill
don't die is what you're
on the
telling
bullshit. Yeah, don't die. It's bad for you.
me. Okay.
So,
Bad for your health.
yeah, no vision quest for you guys, because it seems like you actually have a urgent and relevant need to get into the inner sanctum. I'm not told why. I just kind of run security around here, kind of conscripted. I rarely get to tell my story. I was a hero of the first age. I think you two saw some dope visions. I wasn't really privy to the details. I was just kind of tagging along. Whatever you saw in that last bit, that was before the first age, because the first age started after the era of the ancients really got, and he kicks over a little anthill that appeared out of nowhere. So, I was part of that little first age heroisming as much as I could. It was a little bit of it was a rough time for everybody involved, but, life finds a way.
I think that might be trademarked.
No, you can't trademark a vocal performance. Can you? Yes, you can. Okay, so we're just going to gloss over that little remark that I did just make. But you all are part of, call it Turning of Ages. I was a hero of the first age. I helped shape the beginning of it. I helped make it the first age and not that one intermediate period where not much happened and not much got done and a lot of people lived and died unremarkably. Which, admittedly, is part of the goal of life. Live and die unremarkably, just live in uninteresting times. But hey, that's not you guys. That wasn't me. That wasn't a lot of people. But hey, someone's got to do it. So, this is a turning point. You guys are currently in the third age, headed towards the fourth, or headed towards nothing. It could be either one.
Oh.
It's great. It's great stuff. So, you got some shit to do, and who am I to get in your way? But you'll probably meet the other heroes of ages that have stuck around. So say hi for me when you see them.
Remind me again what your name was.
Lana.
Lana?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did some cool shit. I tell you.
Lana, are you the person who the offerings at the beginning of the temple were for?
What? Huh? Wait, I mean, I run the outer security bit, and I do appreciate all the fun little trinkets and bits and baubles that those orc boys leave out. Oh, they're so cute.
Oh,
Remind me of
I left you flowers.
Oh, I love flowers. Love to sniff them. Love to make some weird teas. You know, I once made a tea that got me so high I didn't remember the next
So
one.
what are we doing
Oh,
here?
right, yeah. So, you guys play things of destiny. The strings of fate pull you inevitably closer towards monumental conflict. It's important to be prepared. So, no, don't
We're
worry
being
about it.
pulled towards monumental conflict.
Did you not get that already?
I mean, I did kind of feel like I was a member of a an important group of people in a narrative sometimes. I get that feeling.
Weird. See, that's just... I don't know, that seems a bit... that's not my speed. No.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's just an inflated sense of self-worth.
Eh.
So what are we doing?
Oh, so Inner Sanctum. You gotta go to the Inner Sanctum. There's some shit that's supposed to happen there. But the how that it's supposed to happen is none of my business. Here's the deal.
I feel that this hero of the first stage is ill-informed.
It was a simpler time, okay?
I feel
Chill
like
out.
this hero of the first stage is trying to pad his runtime.
I'm doing...
I feel like this hero of the first age is really pretty and doing his best.
I'm changing my answer. She's my favorite. No, I can't really change that answer. It's not up to me.
You know I rolled a 19, right?
No, I didn't.
I did. You
I
never
didn't hear
asked
you.
me.
Oh, well, you didn't say it.
I did say it.
I'm changing my answer. You're my favorite now. He's a close second. But he got all of the weird analytics that I never had, so like, fuck that, I guess. Yeah, so you gotta go to the Inner Sanctum, you gotta trust your instincts. But also, you are in charge of making, like, the decisions. The strings of fate are pulling you along, but you're in charge of weaving them into a nice, pretty, intact shape. Or ripping them all apart and causing the tapestry to dissolve.
I don't
That
think
works.
that's what we want.
That's
But
what
I'm
you
not
think now.
sure.
You can never be sure. What's
when
up?
you say trust your instincts, what if my instincts are wrong?
How can you be sure that they're wrong? Maybe they're just leading towards a different outcome in a circuitous and otherwise unavoidable path. The road straight ahead might be easier, but if there's a bunch of fucking assholes on it with swords who want to stab you, it might be better to go through the woods.
Okay.
He does offer good wisdom in its own strange way.
It's
So
not
we go
strange, it's
to
practical.
the Inner Sanctum, and then we'll just do something there.
You'll figure it out. Something might happen to you. I'm not really one for prophecy. My version of prophecy was I pull back arrow, I know where arrow hit. Thump. That's my version of prophecy. It was more of a though when it hit its target. Or maybe that ow!
Okay.
I deal with prophecy a lot.
Oh, brutal. My condolences. You'll probably like some of the others though.
Well, I am... the reason I am here is from prophecy.
I'm like one of the few straightforward people who stuck around. Like I swear to God.
Lana, do you need a hug?
That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's time to get
No!
moving. And the scene dissolves. You find yourself on the other side of a long elliptical tunnel, like one you just entered, and the door closes behind you. You are now facing this large kind of rectangular hallway. Reminds you of that temple that was at the bottom of the sea. Lots of doors, lots of labs, but Selwyn,
You know what?
your staff pulls you forward, much like a dowsing rod.
I step forward.
Yeah.
I see no issue with walking forward.
It seems like this is a long hallway, and the center of this inner sanctum, whatever is the core of this thing's operation, is directly ahead. Do you all follow?
I'll follow.
Yep.
Excellent.
I trust my instincts and follow.
Delightful.
But I also trust my instincts to stay like 20 or 30 feet away from him.
Everybody roll perception. Everybody
like,
roll perception.
Out of fireball range.
Perception, you say?
Perception.
16.
That's cocked.
Damn it.
16.
16.
Damn it.
Group
Perception.
checks. Group checks.
14.
17.
17.
Delightful. Man, I really love saying things at just maximum volume,
I'm gonna
don't
have
I?
to lower the audio levels again, aren't I?
You is a loud hoe.
I do be kind of loud.
We need to
though.
move you away from the mic.
Yeah, but it's my camera's on the mic stand.
I know.
I know.
Next time we need to fix that.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay, so you walk down this hallway, and there are a bunch of what was formerly labs, meeting rooms, libraries. There is probably some stuff remaining in this, but it seems like it was actually like this is an apartment post move out. This is a house with no furniture. It is empty. It is abandoned.
It may have some paprika randomly somewhere.
Yeah,
in the
but
cabinet.
like I think they would have
Feel like
remembered
there's a
their
story to
paprika.
that.
Paprika is one of the
It-
best spices. I would have remembered my fucking paprika.
Paprika's such a good spice.
It's so good.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're walking down the tunnel.
Walking down the hallway, and Selwyn, you walk up right to this big double doors, like normal person-sized double doors, maybe a bit taller than normal person-sized double doors. You reach up, it just kind of taps open with the staff. It opens inwards, and you find for a brief moment a doorway to an extra dimensional space, a maze, a labyrinth. And then suddenly, as your staff kind of leans forward into that space all on its own, it just kind of dissolves. And you find yourself in a large room, and it is at this point that all of your perception
It would be real
checks...
awkward if we had to go through that maze, but somebody thought ahead and brought the staff along.
As all of your perception checks kind of trickle in, it's humid in here. It was humid in that hallway, and you realize very definitively that while all those visions and stuff took place in an extra dimensional space, and that maze was in an extra dimensional space, you are definitively, solidly underground, probably just physically attached to wherever that door that you entered in was, though there's layers and layers of magical defenses attached. And as that humidity kind of comes to a peak, you dismiss that extra dimensional space in the doorway, and you see that this central room, this inner sanctum, this circular room tiered down like a theater in the round or like a lecture hall, rows and rows of not seats but workstations embedded into the wall with a ritual spell circle in the center. This is very reminiscent, though scaled down, of the big ritual room in which you first contacted Endra with all of those cultists. However, there's a lot of water in this room. It seems like it's lightly flooded, drips down from the cracks in the walls and ceilings, as it seems like the structural integrity of this room has been compromised. And there's a big pile of like seafloor muck at the center of this room. And it just, it stinks like rotting algae.
I did have a quick question.
Yes.
Am I still injured from when I blocked the sword with my arm, essentially, in the dreamscape?
No.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
Good question.
Let me check something real fast, just to make sure. Just a little bit of a worry that I've gotten ever since. I'll play some music real fast, try and get some magic into it, and just the water...
The water responds as water and not as a sentient nom 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 nom.
Cool.
Yes. Good
Okay.
check.
For
I have
context,
so many questions.
experienced water that tried to eat him.
Yes.
Wait, what? I don't want to know now. Tell me later.
So structural integrity is
Just like there's leaks. Bunch of leaks in the roof. Although it
Okay.
seems to not be fully collecting, it seems like it's slowly draining out through the center, through that big pile of muck. But it is definitively a strong presence of gross shit in here.
I dive in.
There's not, it's not so much deep enough to dive in, it's like a
Wade
shin deep.
through.
She dives in anyways.
the feeder's dangling up in the air.
Okay, you just jump into the center?
I jump in, yes.
I would also
Please
like
make
to
a
move.
con save as you get within like 15-ish feet of this big kind of thing of river muck
Concept.
or sea
Does
muck.
it look like mending or something would help the structural integrity above the drip drip?
The rod pulls you towards the center as you kind of contemplate the
Okay, I
architecture.
start going to the center.
I'm also going to step down.
As you
Yeah.
get close, roll a con save,
Yeah.
basically, is what it is.
Can I also rage?
Oh,
I would like to.
This would not be from something that you can see, so raging would not give you help.
Oh no. I'm just saying in the context of the situation. I
Yeah,
maintain
you
rage.
do rage, although it'll only
Proficient.
last a round as you won't be making any attack rolls or... it'll only last a round unless you make an attack roll or take damage.
Let me see.
What was that? A 7?
I
Oh,
got a
my-
9.
My
15.
one's.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Oh,
We've
go.
all become Irish.
it's a 19!
It's a 19. So, Candle, you are the only one who kind of stays on their feet as this weird, magically empowered stench washes over you, almost in a pulse from the center of this muck. The rest of you just kind of take a knee, and it's just like, it do be kind of stanky in here.
It smells like my aunt.
Yeah.
I don't have any living family. That's why that's.
Oh.
Oofa doofa. So, there we go. No, that's not the it. One moment. We're just gonna do...
Oh, that would have been...
Oh, by the way, since I raged, I need to roll my wild surge.
Oh yeah, please do.
Oh no.
You raged?
I did.
Uh-oh.
fuck.
This will be spectacular.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Uh-oh. Okay, where's she teleporting this time, lads?
So, let's see.
wild surge. How many of us are going to die because of this?
For reference, this is a
Chaos Magic Barbarian subclass
Yeah.
feature.
so
Every time she rages, roll D8 and a magical random, like little wild surge effect happens.
Necrotic energy bursts from you.
Perfect!
Each creature within 10 feet of you takes 1d10 necrotic damage.
Everybody!
When did you rage?
Oh, like as you all were jumping in.
Yeah.
You're all in 10 feet. I love you so
And
much.
you gain temporary hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt to the creatures.
Well, glad
Roll
we could
some
make you
D10, I
a
guess.
Roll it. Roll the damage.
it.
Roll the damage.
I will.
one.
It's a 10.
Yeah, okay.
9.
Ah, jeez.
So you gain 1, 2, 3, 4 times 9. As the
6.
fourth
4?
creature
Yep.
in range does also take this.
Pardon?
Oh.
Candle, what the fuck
Pardon
was
me?
that?
Sorry, that sounds more like as this wave of necrotic energy from Candle and this poisonous vibe from the muck in the center
Oh, no.
envelops you. And Candle, you kind of stand defiant in front of this muck as your friends try to kind of recover. And it rises, humanoid-ish like, this big just kind of lump of clay that actually it first forms this vaguely humanoid bipedal two-armed figure, but then it just almost by invisible hands gets crushed into a sphere, and that sphere is set to spin. And you see, almost like hands on a potter's wheel, this clay is shaped into a weird kind of clay doll, almost. I won't say golem because this is very much a kind of hostile and deformed presence. And as the clay finishes shaping, it is a vaguely humanoid, but also kind of strange traces of fins and dripping kelp appears, and the rest of you come to your feet, although that kind of poisonous air is still present, and it just kind of tilts its head all the way to the side, to the point where a normal creature's neck would definitely be hurting. And it just kind of looks at all of you and says,
Oh, it's a school picture.
"Ah, well, this will be interesting. Welcome. Welcome to what was once a nice little contact sanctum for the ancients, but I've taken up a little summer home here. It's been a while since we last talked, Candle."
Oh, Fish Boy! Oh, it's
Oh.
really good to see you. You look good.
Oh, thanks.
Fuck your staff.
That's where you.
Right. Love that thing. Great useful tool. So, I have good news for you, and then I also have good news for me. These are two different newses, and I'm very excited to see it. The good news for you is that you finally get some clarity on your quest. And the good news for me is that I found you first. Ah, man. You'd think someone who's a cleric would have their god be paying closer attention to them, but
Who's a
alas.
I'm a cleric.
Both of you are clerics of a sense.
I just follow religion blindly. That's what monks do, right?
That's what clerics do.
Oh.
The light is often
Blind.
Your
blinding.
dumbass does.
Anyways, yes, we have the
Well, it
two
will be
deity
blindly-
champions here. It's
It will
wild.
be blindly because it's not a good recommendation to stare at the sun for a long time. I tried when I was a kid. It didn't work very well.
Or maybe it worked too well. Interesting.
Wow, you're right, Fish Boy.
Yes, I'm very insightful.
Fish boy.
I mean,
There's a place you
I'm
can go.
demon rather than deity, so I have a lot more fun than they do.
Oh.
But I have good news for you guys. You are, as ordained by fate and the flow of magic and destiny in the universe, as my anointed opposition. You are uniquely situated, or maybe chosen by fate, who's to say, to be one of the few groups of people who have a hope of stopping me. It's great.
Cool, Fish Boy.
And since I'm the one who found you first, I get to set the rules. It's great. You know, if the deities had picked you up, all them god folks had bothered to look down close enough, they could have given you a better start. But just your luck.
Hey, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, right, Fish Boy?
Oh yeah, no, this will be great. We'll be getting very close.
Yeah, that's about right.
Oh yeah, no, don't get too attached to that. Honey Bunch is a dipshit. You shouldn't have picked that up. It was really funny though, and I'm very glad you
for
did.
me.
Yeah, I know. I was really hoping that you would do some like nice little Looney Tunes stuff to my great staff.
That's
I was really banking on that, bud.
On her.
Well, not really. No, I wasn't banking on it, but it would have been nice.
Yeah,
It
no
would have
things
been
on you. That's
You're welcome. I
So-
saved you from it.
lovely. Oh yeah, you're so self-sacrificing. Ah, this is great. So here's the assignment. Oh, opposition line. I am embroiled in a bunch of plots. Currently have an ongoing deal with this poor human calling himself the Admiral. Him and my forces have a little arrangement trying to take over this little corner of the world, and in exchange he's helping my folks with getting in charge with the power source. That pesky little earth soul still insists on his independence of nappingness. So your job is to put a stop to that. And the good news for me is that I'm really tired of this Admiral guy anyways. He's getting delusions of grandeur and getting a little too big for his britches with respect to the deal makings. So in order to stop me, you have to first stop the Admiral. And, it's gonna be somewhat difficult since he completely kicked over your little expeditionary fleet. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm very excited. You'll have to seek him out in the northern reaches of these waters, up beyond the islands next to the continent of the Free City States. Well, the portion of the continent. It's all the same one, this main continent, just separated and broken down into little tribes. Much more easily digestible, your little tribes are. Much better than the old days. So, you guys have to figure out a way to go towards the Admiral and fuck his whole shit up, preferably kill him, and in doing, you'll be fulfilling the lion's share of your duty as the anointed opposition. Right?
Roll insight.
Go for it, buddy!
Yeah, I don't trust like that.
Oh, great.
Oh, maybe wow.
I actually stand a chance.
20.
19.
1920 is a great year for the plague.
23.
Oh.
Candle?
I was just gonna say I'm listening, Noah.
Yeah, you don't have to roll. You
I'm
can
not
listen
rolling
to
this
it.
time.
We
So-
don't trust like that?
He's obviously kind of twisting things to be in his favor. But you get the impression that this is a demon who is very familiar with like rules and regulations of how magic operates, and he's kind of doing a genie adjacent wish granting type of thing where he is also getting something out of it the way he is phrasing it. However, it's hard to see how currently simply because of a lack of context. So he's obviously manipulating events for his own gain, but
So this is more of like a mission of facts rather than.
right, for the most part.
Okay.
But what you do notice specifically is as he's talking, he's like casting or preparing or ritually invoking some sort of powerful magical energy. As he is kind of gathering all of this around him in this dramatic monologue. So,
What is to stop us from attacking him right now?
oh yeah, you can attack the puppet. Go for it. It'll be hilarious. Except, here's the thing. Since you are anointed opposition, I have to make it interesting. And if you happen to stray from the path of hunting down the Admiral and getting him off my back as soon as physically possible, well, and he kind of holds out his hands and this spurt of just sickly, diseased water splashes out from him, and in that waft of stench and spray, you all see flashes of different visions. You see demons crawling out of the shore and attacking a traveling halfling caravan. You see several leviathans emerge from the deep in front of a temple by the sea, and they crawl up the cliff and tear it down brick by brick, and you see seas beginning to boil all around the world. And he says, there will be consequences. You see, there's a reason I need an anointed opposition, because otherwise I get too unfocused in my chaos. There's a price to having a certain amount of free will, but it's better than being a god, so whatever. I'll work with what I got. You are my opposition. If I defeat you, I get to do whatever I want. And if you defeat me, well, you save the world and your loved ones, except for maybe there's a price. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
Oh, this hero quest bullshit.
that's nice.
Must be. I don't know.
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah, ask away. What's up? Oh! And he
Um,
kind of stretches his amorphous arms and they just kind of extend about 4 feet before retracting back into his clay-like
So,
body.
This admirable that you want us to
Admirable,
kill?
yes. I think his goals are quite.
Yeah. Admiral.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
This
this guy.
admiral that
He's
you
great.
want us
He's
to...
so fun. Lots of ambition in this guy.
Yeah, I'm just a little curious. Are you two friends or enemies?
Nope. Co-workers.
Co-workers, but you want us to kill your co-workers?
He's so annoying.
I get that.
Brutal.
What?
Ha! This will be a fun group. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are the anointed. This is spectacular. Oh, anyone else have some really loaded questions that will eventually cast just incredible shade on your party members? Anyone else? I'm really just, I would love that.
Cothram, guide me to negotiate with this foul creature.
He's not listening. This is my house.
Your house smells like shit.
Like I said, it's my house.
I actually really like it.
You're so weird. Are you sure you're not, like, he'll figure it out. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, so if that's all your questions, here are the rules of the game. You're chasing down the Admiral. Your goal is to defeat him. If I see you straying from that goal, because I found you first, I get to set the rules, your loved ones and homelands will be punished. It'll be great. On the other hand, because you're anointed and these are some rules that I can't mess with, you are granted some extra abilities while pursuing this cause and for being heroes of the land or whatever the shit. So, and he like grows some fingers out of the stubby little clay hand to snap, and the crystal that is at the center of the staff explodes. And you all briefly are unconscious in a flash of white. And when you wake up, the staff is empty, no longer magical.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Can I have the steak?
And
Steam stick.
and this room, while still waterlogged, no longer has such a poisonous stench. Although there's still that big mound of clay in the center, and it says, "Don't be naughty," and it's like written in it like a crude finger kind of drew out those letters in the muck. And you all gain 3 levels in your main class.
Oh god.
Freaking what?
What?
So does that mean? Oh, do I get
3 levels in your main class.
4 levels of barb?
So,
We can deal with that in a minute.
as this all sinks in, you also feel this kind of featherlight blessing question mark settle over you, and a distinctly foreign but still evident sense of purpose and direction. It's like almost as if you're in like Skyrim and it says new quest added type of feeling, where at the back of your mind you know that chasing down the Admiral and opposing and getting rid of this Lord of the Deep is a pressing urge. It's kind of like hungry, but quest hungry. You're adventure horny is what you are. And you also have advantage on any and all checks to convince people to work with you on this quest in aid of this goal. So if you are, say, convincing some townsfolk to guide you through the forest because you need to find out the hideout of one of his campsites, you have advantage on that check. If you are kind of trying to lie your way past a gang hideout, and because on the other side of that gang hideout is one of the members of the Admiral's kind of command staff, you have advantage on that check. A blessing of the anointed. And you get the impression that this might be just the beginning.
Okay.
Well, that happened.
The
we
water
sure?
level in the room begins to rise.
I would like
I
to try
fucking
to.
hate this.
Can I try to pick up some of the clay?
Sure, roll a con save.
I didn't
What about
mess with my
Stress Rise?
stats.
Let's.
Well,
No, we can figure that out
yeah,
later.
I guess. All right.
Yeah, you can level up later.
So I'm gonna follow instincts. Quick glance around the room.
Yeah.
20.
Anything
Any exits?
shiny knickknack.
You have a clump of clay. We'll get back to you. No.
Okay.
Any exits?
Yeah, there's the exit entrance through which you came. Also, it seems like the door is slowly kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna head that way.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Please, everybody, roll an athletics check.
Can I cast Misty Step instead?
Yes, you can. You can mark off the spell slot and you get to the door.
10.
18.
That's knocked. That's not
worse.
Good. 2.
So you both, let's see what it is. This water is not natural water, although it's not like sentient water. It is definitely kind of cursed. You both gain a level of exhaustion as some of it sloshes up around you as you are kind of trying to wade through it. However, all of you make it to the door. There is a long hallway, and it seems improbably like there is a slope of water behind you, and it is slowly filling up this hallway. What do you do?
Do we just run at this point?
I'm going
Is
to.
there
to help.
I'm gonna pick up the shorter one. Who's shorter?
He's less mobile.
I'm gonna pick you up, throw you on my shoulders, and start running.
Athletics check, baby! You're fine.
I'm gonna start running, but I'm gonna cast Reduce on myself right at the beginning.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Disadvantage athletics check. He's going to catapult himself.
Yes.
I'm gonna, as we enter this room, it's like, Shadow, you got this, Bardic.
Yeah, how are you doing? How are you living?
No, I'm gonna be. I just need to look at. Perfect. I'm gonna cast Bless on these three.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my. What's my Tabaxi speedy?
Your
thing?
scamper?
Feline agility, double movement. Yeah, I'm gonna.
So advantage athletics
No,
check
we can
countering the
go here.
disadvantage of the
Yeah.
exhaustion. Don't forget you have
Doesn't
inspiration
affect
if you
Jack
choose to
Trades.
use it.
Okay, so wait, that was advantage. I saw-
Regular.
Round up.
Just regular. Okay.
Because your advantage
Gotcha. So that was
of
gonna be
stuff.
11.
11.
Oh, that's right.
You said I had. What did I have?
You have inspiration if you choose to use it.
I have inspiration.
From Chaboy.
Bardic.
What is
D6.
D6. I'm
I
gonna.
said
I'm
you
gonna
can do it.
13.
Delightful. You take 10 poison damage as you are at the tail end of this group. And you. What was your roll, Selwyn?
My athletics?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, you take 5 poison damage. As at this current phase, it seems like there's a wave of mist and sickly fog chasing just ahead of this wave that you are successfully failing to outrun.
Shit.
You and
Feel
Chaboy are right there.
Bonus action healing word.
Okay.
And the words are shit, feel better for 9 health.
Oh, alright. You know what?
And you.
I want to, after having reduced myself, catapult myself forward.
Sweet. I'm going to let your guys' checks ride. As you get about halfway down this hallway, there is a spectral man who is very buff and has no sleeves. And he takes this big kind of great shield, and he's just like, yeah, what's up? I gotta have words with my apparently roommate, Chunk. And he plants this spectral shield in the ground, and as you pass by him, suddenly the air is clear. And he's just like, yeah, I'll talk to you later, or I won't. I might die. I don't know.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lana.
And you, after some more scampering, eventually make it to the surface. And it is sunset. As you come out of this big trap door, it seems to kind of throw itself open as you climb these stairs. And you are in an open field. The remains of a campfire are to be seen, and no one is in sight.
I gently lift you off of my shoulders and place you on the ground.
Any
Thank you so
concentration
much.
on the reduce.
'Kay.
And cast healing word on myself.
So you do. What do you do?
Is there any sign of orcs in the area?
It seems like
Or struggle.
their camp was dismantled, but there are no struggle signs.
Okay.
How's everyone looking health-wise?
Let's see after this.
Okay.
I'm very
That's
healthy.
minimum.
I stole some of your health.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we all felt it.
I'm at 9.
You're at 9 health?
Just for context, you did more than half of my health.
You're welcome.
I'm going to Cure Wounds you. How are you looking?
I can heal myself.
Okay, I'm going to Cure Wounds you, and then I'm going to Cure Wounds myself.
I'm
I
gonna
will
healing
allow-
word myself.
I will allow each of you to hit me if you
No,
want to.
No.
that's not how we feel
For
better.
retribution. I feel bad.
Okay. Plus my wisdom.
Don't do whatever you did with the magic explosion thing unless you need to.
I didn't mean to.
Well, yeah, just
8 health.
try to avoid being near us when you start it.
I'm back at full.
God, you're so squishy.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully, the 3 levels will help a little.
we should rest and then get back to the orcs and hope our people are still
Yes, we
Alive?
do need to check on
out of
the.
their ship here
Yes.
and didn't leave us.
We need to check on them, but I will help us set up camp for now.
How long did it seem like the camp has been?
It seems like it was like this is same day situation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's not like it's weeks.
Months
in there a
have
week.
passed. You are abandoned on the island now.
Okay.
So we could rest and
And then get back there tomorrow.
probably less of those
Alright.
schwolfs there.
I believe they were called Bilberts?
Works.
Yeah, well, I'm in favor of
I'm
a
going to
rest.
set up a fire. And
Yeah, you set up camp. And as the sun sets, you get your long rest.
I
You
wave.
do your level ups. And the sun, for some reason, doesn't quite feel as warm when it hits you. And you check your pocket where you put your clump of deep sea clay.
I did, yeah.
And it has now shaped itself into a small version of that clay humanoid figure that you talked to.
I would like to pull it out. So I brought a souvenir.
Why on
What?
earth would you do this? He's clearly some sort of demonic presence working against us.
I believe we've all learned not to mess with anything associated with the...
How do we learn that?
That's funny you should ask. But, regardless of how, I think we've learned not to mess with those things anymore. Shut up. Shut up.
What do you do with your little clay doll?
Crush it for feeling better.
Vindication.
I simply think that it may be a wise decision to understand multiple viewpoints, including the one who wants to supposedly destroy us.
I see this as a bad idea.
Across the board.
If you guys all feel so strongly about this, I'll throw it away.
He called a demon and said retribution on our families. I don't like him.
This demon has
Oh
already...
yeah, that vision. By the way, those visions were theoretical.
Yeah,
it was.
we
those
figured.
were threats,
Well, yeah.
not
Yeah.
actually happening
Yeah, figured.
currently.
Yet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Perhaps
no,
they might be avoided.
Yeah.
It is a future that may come to pass.
Yes.
If it's so important, I'll throw it away.
I would prefer that.
Yes, we have already seen. We do not want this creature listening in if he has some of
I
his
will
self.
give you this vaguely magical stick in exchange for you throwing it away.
I grab the stick and say, thanks for the stick, and start walking away.
This is not going to end well.
Kendall, please.
She is out of earshot.
Thank you. You said you wanted me to get rid of it. I'm not getting rid of it next door camp. That's bad juju.
So, where are you going?
I'll talk to you later.
Oh, Boise. Okay.
What?
I don't.
So,
Pardon?
What?
see, the fun thing about streamed campaign is
That's
where do you
not-
go?
That's
so what
not
I
a
would
thing.
like to do is I would like to walk kind of out of earshot and then sit down with the little figurine perched on a rock and then just kind of look at it for a period of time, as in I am eternally debating whether or not I want to actually destroy it.
Where are you at? Tell me about your thought process.
Well, my thought process is that yes, I don't want to make the rest of my party uncomfortable, but I also feel as though a connection to this entity, this thing is already kind of very heavily associated with what we have been working around in general. Just like we're in the ocean and this thing is like synonymous with like deep water and stuff. So like I feel like we're already, I know we're not in the ocean.
No, I'm not. You're good.
Oh, hi. And I just kind of get this feeling that like there's more information we can learn from this thing.
Okay. As you're holding onto this staff, it feels very kind of empty and lighter than it should be. Also, you've set up this little clay doll and is sitting on a little stump in front of you. It is still and unmoving.
My party members don't want me to keep it.
It frowns at you, sadly.
I'm
A little face shapes itself.
Oh, I'm sorry, fish boy. But
It kind of pouts and crosses its arms.
oh no, I'm so easily manipulated.
It kind of like bows its head down and is just like, okay, and it kind of stands itself up and starts very slowly walking out of sight, but then kind of stops and looks over its shoulder.
Okay, I pick it up. I put it in the stick.
It kind of like claps its hands gently, and as you put it in the stick, it just kind of shakes its head and just like melts into mud, slithers down the stick, reforms just kind of in your hand as a little doll, and kind of like runs up to your arm and hugs your bicep.
Okay, we're gonna work with this for right now. I will say that if you're naughty, bad things will happen. I'll turn you into a ceramic pile of trash.
It kind of like chuckles, it puts a little kind of hand next to its face, like, who, me? I'm not mischievous. And then it jumps into your bag and kind of like cannonballs and disappears into your inventory.
I'm
Is
glad you chose to dispose of that thing.
Is it disposed of?
Well, she does not have it anymore.
You can
Okay.
check me if you want.
No.
We trust you.
Don't. Yeah.
And you settle in for the night, with much to think about. Your dreams are troubled reflections of the scenes you saw in that outer sanctum, but nothing seems to stick. And that's where we're going to leave it for today.
Question for you.
Oh no.
Am I still cursed?
Oh no.
Okay.
That curse has gone away.
Cool.
It's transferred.
Nah. You get your own thing.
Oh, good.
I'm so happy.
That's really cool.
So yeah, we're going to answer questions about leveling up and all of that bullshit later on.
Huzzah!
But yeah, thank you for joining us this session of
Bye, friends.
Outpost.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Thank you all so
Bye.
much for joining us. If you want to catch any of the sessions that you have missed, there's a link to the YouTube channel on the description of this little thing. Just scroll down. And you can find it there if you want to catch up on any of the things you've missed. We also do other things. I may or may not be streaming Monday and Tuesday. We will see. But yeah,
Also, if you want, cat.
Tigger,
Meow.
we love him.
look at Cat. This was the Trouble
This is the
Cat.
Howley boy.
This was Trouble Cat. I'm not sure if the audio picked him up.
He probably
But this
didn't.
is Trouble Cat.
Gain is not that high.
Yeah.
Probably not, but it
Um,
caused a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
Fair.
Why
He's a
we
big baby.
had 10 minutes of
Yeah.
just.
Mess.
And then eventually I will upload the video of this session to YouTube as well. And if you missed the beginning, you can either watch it on Twitch or you can wait and watch it on YouTube. All of that good stuff. We will see you in the next thing of whatever we make. D&D, for those of you new who are just joining, is every other Sunday supposedly,
Except for when it's not.
except for when it's not, and there will be things, and hopefully we'll figure that out. I think that's my spiel. I
Okay,
think we're good.
cut
All
it
right,
off.
Have a great rest of your
Or
weekend.
bye.
and
Kill it.
bye.
I don't want to be on camera anymore.
Bye.